Alright, are you guys ready to start with the first mystery game?
Sure.
Sure.
Alright, I'm posting it now. Your game is The Lion King.
Oh boy.
Yep, Lion King low percent. Good luck.
I think hard in that game is actually no lives, no continues. Start with it or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably
Jesus.
It's probably one hit death or pretty close to it, right? Don't they
Is
up
there
the
something
damage?
up at the top right corner of my stream?
What's that? Say that again?
That's good.
Somebody was asking what's up. Mythical was asking what was up at the top right corner of my stream.
Oh, it's gone now. There was like you were capturing like a chunk of the emulator on top of and like shifted. It was really bizarre. Yeah, this is the triumphant return of Lion King SNES. It is infamous as the first and only double did not finish in episode 3.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Can't
It's
wait.
been everyone else has been too scared of it ever since then, but
I'm glad
You guys
we're
are-
not scared of it.
yeah, you stepped up.
Wait, so we have to extract this save state in like a specific folder, right?
That's right, it has to go into the saves folder.
And you want to make sure you unzip everything so that the file names match up.
Yeah, that's right. You have to unzip the ROM as well. You can't run it from within the zip file, unfortunately.
Instructions. Pause here. So it's just fun to do pause it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember any of my hotkeys. Oh right, shit.
Yeah, by default it's Shift F key to save and F key to load. I always rebind everything so it closely matches FCEUX.
Yeah, same here.
Alright, it's looking good.
Okay, so for the people who have joined us so far, what's happening right now is we've just revealed one of the mystery games. All 4 players voted on a whole bunch of games that we gave them, and we pick their top votes. This is one of them here. Now the players are going to have 1 hour to practice this game. They've been given 1 level to do as the goal. Their goal is just to beat Simba's Destiny. And they've never speedrun this game before, and it's possible these players had some casual playthrough experience of the game because this is a pretty popular game. But they're all starting from scratch as far as learning speedrun strats, so let's see what they can do with this in an hour. This is an interesting part of the game. The game upgrades your character at some point. You start out as little Simba, and Simba grows up.
Oh god.
That's
For
very
some
green.
reason the music just cut out completely.
Yeah, that happens a lot with Super Nintendo games and SNES 9X. It's pretty much a terrible emulator, but it's the best that we have for using Super Nintendo games with Lua without having to resort to BizHawk. JD, and out of curiosity, what bitrate are you streaming at?
I set the max bit rate 500.
500, okay. Just checking. I was seeing some drops in your stream, but it might be not your fault, but rather Hitbox's fault.
Too bad, because this game has really good music, actually. They really adapted the soundtrack well.
I think they did, yeah.
This is a level 7, if I remember correctly.
Not the last level? Let's
No.
see.
Yeah, pretty sure there's a lava one after this, which might
Yes.
be prepared, and maybe that's the third one. And then there's Simba's Return, I think, and then
Yeah.
the last one's Pride Rock.
That's right, yeah. Simba's Destiny, Be Prepared, Simba's Return, and Pride Rock. So there's 3 more stages after this. This is, I think, the first one where you have the new Simba, though, right?
Yes, I believe so too.
The previous stage is Hakuna Matata, and I'm pretty sure that you do that as Child Simba.
Continuing this level.
Sophies, you're not seeing anything crazy going on JDN stream right now?
That's Tolu's stream, and yes, or no, Toad's stream rather, and yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's what it is. I had them swapped before, and then I swapped them back. All right, that's why. Yeah, it's not JDN. It's Toad.
Yeah, it looks like there is a scene object that is enabled that's sitting on top of the game screen.
Yeah,
And it's picking up a piece of a different screen cap.
What in the world?
but like
Yeah.
it's not even
It's like a
the
magnifier
thing it's showing
almost.
is not on screen at all, though. It's so weird. It's
he
like it's
jumps-
capturing this from off screen.
I see, he's moving it around. It is a scene object, right? Or is that a window that's sitting on top of it that you're moving or something like that?
I was just moving the emulator. There's nothing in front of my emulator. Weird.
You're dragging the thing around. I see your mouse cursor goes onto it and you move it. So you clearly can interact with it. That's really strange.
I can only move the emulator. There's nothing.
Oh, you were moving the emulator and that causes that to move around. Well, move the
Yeah.
emulator some.
Oh, I think you're capturing your monitor, and so when you move the emulator, you're
Oh, so weird.
moving the emulator around the monitor capture.
You just need to minimize whatever that small window is. There. Oh, you just... Well, it went away for a second.
Try that.
There's a small window
this.
that's the size of a dialog box. Yeah. Maybe that's
Try
it.
that. That's weird. I don't get it.
Gone. No, back.
What are the scene objects you have active?
In OBS,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all I have is Super Nintendo.
Weird. Okay.
That's it. And I'm doing window
Well-
capture.
I have-
We'll deal with it. Just practice, and it's
Not
not
quite
covering up the
sure.
timer, so we'll just deal with it.
What the heck that is?
Oh, hang on, man. Let me go back.
What in the world? There's nothing on my computer there. What the heck?
Oh, it's still working.
Maybe just delete it and recapture it.
It's weird. It goes away
Yeah.
and then it comes right back.
And game capture work for this?
Yeah, it should. Game capture should pick this up.
So this is going to be one of those goals where there's not a lot of content, but it's really hard to optimize what is there. Even just getting the hang of Simba's movement is pretty hard.
I hope that doesn't return. Oh, it did again.
That looks good.
Very good.
Now it's
so far.
and
so
as
good.
soon as you go back into it,
Yeah.
it jiggers itself again.
Well, we'll just put up with it. It'll give the chat something to talk about.
Guess so.
It's weird. You can almost like position the window so that the
Yeah,
that
you can almost
inside
make it
window is in actually the right spot, even though it's still there.
Close some stuff. Maybe that'll help. Click back on.
I'm pretty sure we didn't link a video. Darn. I don't know if TMR still has the record in this game.
I think he does, right? Let me go look this up.
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Try monitor capture. That might actually.
Oh, it looks like a number of people have since beat him
Oh wow. Okay.
on difficult anyway. On easy, one person has beat him.
Right this way.
We're on easy mode here today. Right.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's one person has beaten him 9 months ago.
Yeah, lots of video resources on speedrun.com and otherwise, so
World.
Was there a Genesis Lion King?
Yeah.
yes.
I think I've never played that. I know I've played Genesis Aladdin.
Yeah, that was major different. I think if I remember correctly, they're pretty the same. They're pretty much the same game.
Yeah.
I see.
The Aladdin split is pretty different, but not Lion King.
Okay.
Just learned with like the mystery tournament. There's a Master System Aladdin too, and it's different. It's much more like Prince of Persia style almost.
Wow, a Master System Aladdin. I'd like to try that.
I played an NES ROM hack that looks and plays similar to the SNES version.
Oops, mistweet.
Oh wow.
You got Seawolf confused for Jadian.
Oh shoot!
I was gonna say.
God damn it! We're scheduled so many matches, man.
And everyone thinks it's me who does the Twitter all the time, because it usually is.
It
You're
usually
making me
is.
look bad. I have my
I'm
own
making
mistakes.
us look bad.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that tweet is wrong twice actually, because this is also not the quarterfinals.
Yeah, not the quarterfinals either. I think a bunch of people have already retweeted it too. We can't just delete it. We'll just say correction. Tell you what, I'll do this. I'll do it.
You can just pin it all on me.
Nah, we won't need to do that. That's fine.
I think if it's funnier, then I think you should. For the first time tonight, someone in chat asks, "What's up with Toad Screen?"
Oh boy.
Yeah, we don't know.
I can't fix it.
It's kind of like when there's like a thick sheet of glass and you're like right on top of it and you're kind of half looking through it and the image gets split. Looks like Lightyear got the Panther skip. If I recall, it's pretty easy to replicate it once you know what to do.
Yeah, I still don't know if I don't think I know what to do. I'm just kind of just hoping that it works out.
I think as long as you run right up to it and roar right away, I think.
It just sometimes works and sometimes.
Yeah, basically they need to be all tired out.
Okay.
And that can happen randomly when they just attack, but if you roar, you should force them into that state, I think. Do we have Nightbot in the chat by any chance? Probably not.
Well, it wasn't until earlier when I
Oh.
brought him in.
Damn. Of course, it just says title, it doesn't say what game.
Yeah, that's one of the things it doesn't say in that the Nightbot's now playing.
It is Killers. Or yeah, it was, not something else.
And then the rock falls right onto a panther.
Just gonna send one just to see if this is working.
Yep, I see an upload from Lightyear.
Alright.
Yep, you can request things on Rainwave. But I think you need to make an account to request, but you can vote even without an account. And this was requested by Zero Noan, who is our unofficial fourth member who seems to always be calling the shots on Rainwave music. He's our SGL DJ. But if you don't want him to hog it, then you can jump in there and make your own requests.
I think you actually also have to be listening. You can mute it, but you actually have to be listening
Yeah,
to it.
you have to tune in and then you can click mute if you don't want to actually hear it there.
Yeah, that's not Sea Shrine. That's Chaos Temple.
Isn't it the
Sea Shrine is the do 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 do. It's a different song.
Yeah.
That's definitely Chaos Temple, and it's also used for Waterfall Cave, I think.
All these monkeys.
We're all mixed up. Seawolf, how come you're not in here playing? Aren't you supposed to be on today? Nope, am I wrong? Okay. That was Guru Guru Volcano? I thought it was both. Don't they both use that? All those? No, it's not Mayoda's Cave. I know it's not that one, but... We're all confused. Maybe it's Corneria. That's the one. Oh, and Earth Cave. That's the other one that they reuse it for. You're right. Alright. I'm retiring. See you guys later.
That just means you need to play FF1 again.
I agree.
Shoot.
What is this jump?
Which jump?
The one at the end.
Oh, I think there's a secret.
What's the secret?
Probably like you get more roar meter or something stupid.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll probably write 0. I was watching the Dragon Warrior run the other day, as Cardinality was doing another run of that, and I really like the fact that they changed the music pitch each level that you go down in the dungeon. I wish Final Fantasy did that. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Makes it feel really, really dark and disturbing as it gets down there.
Yeah. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, it starts to get really far low. Every level it goes down, you think, all right, that's the lowest they're going to be able to play it, because otherwise it's just going to start to sound just terrible.
Yeah.
But
No,
but
one
you're
more.
always surprised. The next level comes, and there it is.
I can never remember that Panther's there.
Yeah, this is actually a little heavy on memorization. You're so big on the screen, and you move pretty quick, so you have to kind of be reacting to things that aren't really on screen yet.
Typical Super Nintendo platform.
Yeah. They're like, we got all these bits. Let's make these characters big and wonderful to look at. Karaoke in chat. Struggled with this game as a kid. I think I rented the Genesis version and got all the way to Pride Rock and died. Because I didn't know how to fight Scar. You have to throw him. You can't do anything else.
For me, it was Be Prepared, the lava level.
Yep, that level sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
There was a bit of debate as to whether or not we'd include part of it in this goal. We opted to not.
I think when I beat this game the first time, I traded off levels with a friend of mine, but he had already played through the game before, so there really weren't any secrets to be figured out. It's just a matter of getting through it.
There are a fair number of secrets, hidden pathways, and things.
A little more is young Simba, if I remember correctly, because he's got that roll.
Yeah, that you can roll into some secrets.
What's going on with Toad's capture? We don't know. It's just a thing that OBS decided to do. We're just gonna roll with
I've
it.
tried window and monitor capture and game capture, and it's all the same.
It's just being goofy. We'll deal with it.
So far, I've managed to avoid the climbing animation only once.
Yeah, there's a couple spots where all you really need is a running jump, but then there's other spots where you have to slash at just the right time, and those are really hard.
Ooh, there, got it again. Got it twice in a row. Hope I can say that consistent.
It's a pretty cool looking level. I like the color scheme. And all the parallax in the background, the different rows of jungle trees are moving at different speeds. It's pretty cool. This is just a great looking game in general. They did a good job with it.
I'm a little dismayed to see this Panther not get tired out twice in a row for Tolu. Maybe he's roaring too early, but otherwise I was pretty sure it was like a sure thing.
I think your roar meter is high enough, but may not. I don't know what that is. Unfortunately, when you take damage, you lose your roar meter entirely.
Oh.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, it looked like his
The
was
yellow.
full there. I think there's a couple spots where you can opt to take damage to save a tiny bit of time. But you risk getting pegged by some monkeys with coconuts. Optimizing these vertical sections is really tough. Whenever you have to turn around and then jump right away, you can do it such that you maintain your running speed, I think, without doing any like running further than you need to, but I don't know if it's frame perfect or what. But the consistent thing to do is to run just a tiny bit and then start running back to the ledge and jump. I think there's a couple spots where lag management will be a thing too.
Yep, good old Crystallis, aka Crystallis, playing right now on the jukebox. I'd like to get that game on this show. I think lots of good potential goals there.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it'll just be like kill these things in the sea for 10 minutes. Get to the next level.
That's right, run in a circle killing slimes.
SGL now with more grinding. Great idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the argument by giving a nod to both sides there. I should just call it something completely different, just so there's no favoritism at all.
Crystallis.
Christy!
I always thought Chrysalis had an H.
I ran into the Japanese version earlier. It was like God of something. Be a good alternative.
Just call it by its
Godslayer,
Japanese name.
that's it.
Godslayer. That's certainly a more memorable name, I think, but
Pity health here.
Jump that Tolu was trying. Oh, I missed it. Was it the same
Yeah.
one? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the last one. I think it's possible, but I've never gotten it so far. I don't know what you have to do to get it.
Huh.
It's like slashing gives you extra height, maybe?
It can't. Yep. If you get it on the right spot. There's a fair bit of practice time left. Actually, I don't have the stream up, so I can't tell you
29
exactly how
minutes.
much. Yeah. So it's enough to like you're gonna complete the goal. It's just everyone has to kind of spend time figuring out which parts they want to optimize. Tolu's tail gets crushed by the boulder, keels over dead. If this jump is possible, I didn't know about it. It must be a relatively new thing.
Yeah, there's JD trying for that jump. Wonder how much time that saves.
Is that jump possible?
It's in the 80% easy run. That's on speed run.
Huh.
Does he get it first try, or does he...
He gets it first try.
I wonder if there's just something special to it, or if he just reset a lot until he got that.
Got it.
Let's see it. There it is. So how much time does that save? That'll tell you how long you would expect to be able to work on it before it stops saving you time. And he gets it again. Uh-oh, guys, I think we got a new trick in the route here.
I have this muted out.
Flash.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, making that jump messes up this goal a little bit, but we're not gonna ban it because it wouldn't be fair to change the rules at this point. But next time we have this goal on here, we'll probably count that jump out. Yeah, we usually try to avoid things that are really tricky tricks to get right, because we don't want runs to hinge on which player manages to get a certain difficult trick, because it's almost like having RNG. I mean, perhaps you'll be able to get better at it, but it may be the case where we see all the players come up to this point and just jump away and then reset when they've missed it too many times, and that becomes the way the whole match goes. I guess these guys need to balance how much time it will take to go around and do this the normal way versus how many time it takes them to actually get this jump.
That's true. If there's only like 25 minutes left of practice, you gotta wonder how much of that would be better spent on the rest of the goal, and how much of it would be spent making this even slightly more consistent.
Yep. Well, it does have assuming people don't all go for it, it does at least give you something that you can do as an alternative to just losing. Like if you have a run that you know is not going to make it, you can go for this trick.
Yeah.
Now, only one player will walk away from today's match. This is the losers bracket that we're doing today, so all these players have already been beaten by at least one other person. So only the person who comes out of this undefeated is going to move on. Undefeated being winning 2 out of 3 matches. So I guess they could be defeated in a match, just not overall. So whoever wins 2 out of 3 matches here moves on.
Yep, and everyone is essentially competing against everyone else.
Mm-hmm. And this is not going to be the only game we do today. We're doing 3 matches, or up to 3 matches. If we don't need to do the third one, we won't, but we probably will with 4 people. And each one is going to be an hour of practice, and then half an hour of gameplay. Of match play, rather. Had some interesting Zelda 2 races this morning. The Bad Breaks versus... Wait, who was Bad Breaks? He wasn't Scorpion Max, right? He was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was Scorpion Max? Oh, that's right, that's right. Yeah, Bad Breaks versus Scorpion Max was the first one.
Possibly one of the closest race we've had in the tournament so far.
Yeah, only 12 seconds apart they finished. The lead changed hands a couple times. Bad Breaks getting off to a good start, but then having some problems a little bit later, missing a key. Let Scorpion Max catch up, and then from there it was really tight right to the end.
And the other one was going to be a blowout until a soft lock happened. Soulfad
Soulfad had a soft lock, yep.
Soft locked the game, and it is avoidable. And even though it is avoidable, and even though Zarnax was way behind, he offered a rematch. He didn't want it to end that way. So they're gonna redo that tomorrow, but it was an hour into the race. Suddenly this happened and just brought everything to a screeching halt, I guess.
Yeah, the mystery game is different for each race. For each of the 3 matches, we'll have a different mystery game, so it won't be Lion King again. Players have already voted on all their game choices, and so far only Myth and I know what the games are going to be tonight. And still seeing a lot of drops on JD's stream. I wonder if switching to a different hitbox channel would help.
Let me try increasing the bit rate.
Sure, go for it. If you don't normally have frame drop problems, well, then again, you probably normally stream to Twitch, and that's...
I've been normally streaming lately anyway, so everything.
Actually, Error, it wasn't at the Palace 5 heart. It was around then, but it was actually at a slightly different spot.
Was it in Palace? It was on the way to Palace 6, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But yeah, that should be good. I had a lot of fun casting the Zelda races. I'm looking forward to doing more of that here on the Speed Gaming channel. But today it's all about SGL. And tomorrow too, there's going to be an SGL match, which will be quarterfinals this time. With the Seawolf, not Jadian. Well, it could be Jadian. No, this is a different bracket.
Yeah, that's not one that could be Jadian.
Yeah, I'm trying to go off the top of my head. Dragon Dark, Andy, and Enemy TV, I believe.
Wow, Jadian, what did you up the bitrate to?
1,000.
Now it's just like dropping every other second.
Oh yeah. Come to think of it, I'm seeing the drop frames here now too.
Why don't you go the other direction? Try 300.
I'm actually wondering what's causing the drop frames.
Well,
Is it?
if you want to stream to Twitch, we can do that. You'll be more delayed than the other players, but it doesn't really matter since it's not a direct race. Would you like to do that? If you don't want to stream to your own stream, I can give you a different Twitch stream key.
Nah.
Got some warnings in chat not to softlock the Lion King.
Don't softlock Lion King? It's
Don't do it,
probably possible to softlock the Lion King.
Probably.
Almost looks like you soft lock when you die, though. It's like there's like a half, like just a tiny delay before it registers you're done.
Yeah, you're like, what happened? Why can't I? Oh. No. Yeah, it's a shame about the music in this level. I guess the audience wouldn't hear it anyway, but in fact we can play it for them, but the players are probably getting silent as soon as they reload the state.
Yeah, and that's a common problem with S9X. It's nothing to be done about it.
That's almost, I don't know, channel issue or something. Because it seems to work for a little while, and then different sounds just seem to override the music or something.
Yeah, that's really weird.
The sounds still work, even with when the music's done.
It's kind of interesting to see all the little decisions that people have made about how to approach certain sections. So what do you think, guys? Lion King back on the show. We're gonna get 4 DNFs.
Let's hope not.
Just everyone jumping up and down, trying to make that one jump for 30 minutes.
Right.
You can do a bit of a YOLO jump when that boulder is coming. The one where you can do the super jump. If you do elect to use the boulder, then you can jump straight up and then have the boulder come and land, and then you land on top of it right away. But if you miss it, you just die. I think this was one of the goals where I had time to give myself the full hour and a half. And I think I managed to get it pretty consistent. Certainly not this super jump, though. That was not discovered back then.
The problem is that it seems to make use of 2 slashes to get to the...
Yeah, so you probably there's a decent window, but when you have to get 2 slashes in that window, suddenly it's much harder.
Yeah.
About 12 minutes of practice left. So we're getting down to the end here. The players should be fairly comfortable with this goal at this point. And it's not an exceptionally long goal. I think they've all finished it at least once, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's always going to be a little awkward to move Simba around.
Someone figured out that second pan.
Oh, we got it.
Yep, Tolu gets it there.
Yeah, I gotta run.
This will be interesting to see what the players do. They might start out trying to get a run on the board without that, see how good a time they can get. And then see what the other players do. It's really, with a trick like that, the kind of thing where you risk losing more time than you're going to save if you have to sit there and try it 10 times. It's really the kind of thing where you really got to see what your opponents are doing and how tight on time you are. But that's good. We like for SGL to be more than just the speed run that you're working on. There's sort of a larger game at stake here. Thinking about the match as a whole. Well, you're showing out. They're showing off the beginning of the next stage.
Yeah, nice and easy to see when you're in the next level.
Yeah, quite a color difference.
So, where is the ending point exactly? Is it like fade to black, or when you touch like in the pool, like the cutscene?
I believe it's when the screen stops scrolling to the left.
That is what our notes say.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, missing the Panther skip really sucks. You have to fight like 6 of them before you can move on.
Really sucks when you get the Panther skip and then get hit on the other end when you're got no
Yeah,
life left.
the second panther spawns and then hits you. You're invincible while you're doing the roll, but the other panther can still like attack. I still haven't figured out the second panther gate. System method for it.
Seen a couple in the 150 range for people finishing runs. I think that was about what I had. I remember it being a nice even number. Maybe I can even load up the emulator, see if I still have that movie. I just loaded it up and it looks like my most recent movie is a failed attempt, so don't get to find out. Getting down to about the final 4 minutes of practice here.
Got a 144.
Nice.
And I'll send that as a test run. Make sure I can actually upload now.
Got runs from JD and Toad and Lightyear.
And that's what happens when the rock just won't even run over you, touch it.
I like how you can't run on or land on the rock while it's rolling either. I also like how you can't move in the air while you're holding up.
It's like if you do a running jump and then you're holding up and left, he doesn't move.
If you're holding up at all, you can't move left or right.
I'm surprised that didn't screw me over a whole bunch when I was practicing. I'm really bad at holding just a direction. I love to mash all over the D-pad with my gigantic thumbs.
I can see the winning time being under 140 even without the super jump.
It's true, it's really hard to string everything together. There's so many little things that can cost you a second or two.
Alright, well the practice period is over here. So now these players are going to get it set up for a match here. I think before we do that, Toad, do you want to try changing one more thing in SNES 9X just to see if we can fix this thing? If you go to config video render method, can you switch it to whichever it's not set to? Config video render method.
I like when he goes into the menu, the thing disappears for no
Yep.
reason, and then comes back later.
Still doing it? Yeah, looks like it is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, why don't you set it back to whatever it was, and we won't change that. As much as I do like the picture-in-picture, it's kind of neat.
I guess while everyone gets their scripts loaded, I'll go ahead and do the intro to this show. It's time to get going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SGL Speed Gaming League, the ongoing speedrun competition that combines skill, strategy, and fun. Today is round 2 of the losers bracket in our season 1 playoffs, and we're going to be playing some mystery games. To recap how it works, our players voted on a list of games, and we give them some goals from their top picks. And they have just 1 hour to practice each game before they try to give us their best runs that they can in a series of 30-minute matches. I am your host, Mythical9, and with me as always is my co-host, Feasel. Who
Hello.
are our players today?
Well, we've got 4 of our contestants from this tournament. We're doing one of the losers bracket matches, so that means all 4 of these players have been eliminated once so far, and only the person who beats everyone else, only one person is going to be advancing after this. So our 4 players in the top left here, we have Jadian. Hello, Jadian.
Hello.
And in the top right, we've got Lightyear. Hi, Lightyear.
Hello, everyone.
In lower left, we've got Toad22484. Hi, Toad.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
And in the bottom right, we have Tolu. Hello, Tolu.
Hello.
So all 4 of these players have a lot of SGL experience at this point. Normally I point out if someone's a first-timer on SGL or if someone's an old veteran, but all of these players have a lot of experience. Should be a pretty close match tonight. Are all 4 players ready to go here?
Yep.
So,
Sure.
Alright, well I'm going to give you guys the countdown in 3, 2, 1, go.
here we go.
And they're off. We got
Alright.
30 minutes on the clock here.
Good luck to everyone. They're probably going to need it because Lion King has a bit of a reputation on our show. The only time both competitors have, well, back when we used to do 2-person matches, the only one to get did not finish on all around, and we ended up having to do a sort of overtime thing on the fly.
That's right. That was the only time we had to deal with the do not finish. It was
Yeah. And
awkward.
since then, we've put it in the voting a number of times, I think, but has not been chosen. So people were kind of scared away, I guess. But these are brave. These 4 fellows, or maybe they just didn't know what they were getting into. But
right. well,
honestly, this goal is nowhere near as hard as that one.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a lot more health to work with, for one thing, and I think just in general, this is a less intense level to do. There's a lot of memorization, and certainly platforming is tricky, but you don't have those difficult hyena fights. You do have some fights here, but adult Simba handles them quite a bit differently than young Simba does. So this game is interesting in that the main character goes through a transformation, much like Simba does in the movie. For the first half of the game, you're playing as Cub Simba, who has a different set of attacks and abilities as adult Simba. About halfway through the game, it switches over to adult Simba, and this is actually the first level where you're playing as adult Simba. There's another 3, I think we said, after this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about 7 levels into the game so far, a little over halfway.
Right. This we got a run in already here.
Lightyear in the top right.
Lightyear, yes. I haven't quite put the names to the 4 corners just yet. Lightyear finishing with a 147, which is about what we saw people getting in practice, in the 140 to 150 range, so that's pretty solid. Yeah, there's kind of a lot going on all over the place in this goal. There's plenty of these vines that you have to stop to slash, and typically that's faster done by jumping and slashing in the air. You can slash quicker in the air than you can on the ground, but in some cases you do have to wait until you land afterwards, so it's only really fastest if you can jump early enough, and that's just one little thing. There's the vines all over the place. There's a number of jumps where you can slash to gain a little bit of extra height. and that will clear a ledge without you having to do this ledge grab animation, which feels so slow whenever you have to do it. And there's actually one place in particular that a recent discovery is that there's a place where you could do 2 slashes to gain just enough height to skip a boulder, and it saves 4 or 5 seconds. But it's remarkably hard. So with only an hour's practice and 30 minutes to try to get a run in, it's probably not going to be the default for anyone, but anyone who's desperate for 5 seconds, or if they feel that's the only way to really make up a solid amount of time, then you may see them start going for that. But
Right, we'll probably see a bit of both in this, because I'd say it's probably more closer to 10 seconds. We'll say 8 seconds, maybe, compromise there, that it saves. So we saw players in practice attempting this over and over again, taking sometimes much longer than 8 seconds to get it. But we also saw players get it a couple times in a row, so it's something that we probably will see pulled out, or at least attempted at some point, if not already. Yeah, we already see Jadian going for it.
Nope, that was the wrong button.
got a 152 from Toad. And
right now, see, this is the spot where I introduce the other staff member in the call here, Arcano. Arcano is our official timing referee. Each of these runs, as the player submits it, they're playing on emulator, and when they finish each of these runs, we automatically submit the recording the emulator made, and Arcano takes that recording, plays it back in emulator, and frame advances to the exact endpoint, so we get the precise timing. And you see already we have up on the board a 146.85 from right here. That's the official time. So thank you, Arc, for doing this very important duty, and he's really fast at it too. Watch how quickly the times pop up. So that 152, that's from Toad within this match, right? I'm pretty sure that wasn't something you got during practice.
no,
Tolu,
yeah, that was
No,
just
that was it.
happened.
Yeah.
yeah, and then Tolu also got a run in, so already
Jadian
some...
finished a run, but he kind of reset right away. I guess
I
he
couldn't
wasn't
remember
happy.
which button it was.
Oh no.
Well, it was about a 149, so I think he can do better. Hopefully it won't be a big deal, but in the future it is Y. That is the button you want to hit. Well, spacebar first, and then Y, yeah.
Alright, we got Tolu's run up there on the board. A 151, so he must have just split late.
Oh, I think I got the wrong visual cue for it.
It's when the screen stops moving left, I believe.
Yeah, when you land down there, you're kind of controlling Simba right up to the last minute, so it doesn't really make sense to stop it when you lose control. And then the screen scrolls to the left, and then Mufasa appears in the clouds, and he says something to you.
Found
So the
a
screen
glitch that I
scrolls.
killed the vines, but it won't let me advance.
Oh, that's nifty.
Oh, neat.
How about that? New discovery.
Yep, not quite a soft lock, but it basically is, right? I mean, it's not as
Pretty
bad as
much.
as a Zelda 2 soft lock, but I would consider that a soft lock, sure. So
Yeah,
we talked
maybe you
about
could,
this in the chat earlier.
Despawn it if you go off screen or something, but yeah, but likely that's definitely a reset either way. So, like, you're going to continue on here, looking for a better time.
Well, speaking of better time, Toad just got one in.
Yeah.
150 on the manual splits there. We'll know in a moment when Arc gets that finished. And I think we got enough of these up that we can start putting up the comparison videos.
Sentinel in chat says the race starts in 23 minutes. Is that what that timer is saying? That timer is counting down to the end of the match. This match has already started. Everyone has 30 minutes to try to get the best run they can of this goal, this one level. So they have 23 minutes left to get their runs in. And based off of how their runs have gone, how other people's runs have gone, and how much time is left, it basically plays into the strategy of what kind of decisions you make.
Alright, there, I got a better run.
That is a better run. 145. So I think we're going to see players start to really squeeze out some frames here. There's plenty of places where a slash will get you up on a ledge. It's significantly easier than this double slash that Tolu is trying to do right now. but it is still a little tricky. And anyway, that can save you up a climbing up animation, which is like 1.5, 2 seconds. It's really slow. There's plenty of places where you're climbing left to right, and every time you turn around, there's a good chance that you'll do a standing jump rather than a running jump. And when that happens, Simba does not move as quickly in the air, so you're likely not going to make the next ledge. You'll have to grab it. There's another 2 seconds gone. So you'll see them kind of run up to the right and then jump back to the left or vice versa. And when you do that, it's all about, well, how long are they holding off to the one direction, and how many frames can they shave off every time they do that. There's all kinds of little optimizations like that throughout this goal, and it's really hard to get a run that puts all of them together. So I think that's what we're mostly going to see for the rest of this match. Lots of resets as people try to get closer and closer to this sort of ideal run.
And we just saw Jadian's latest run pop up there on the board. In first place, 145. He's got over a second on Lightyear so far. I'll get those comparison videos updated for you guys in a second.
These monkeys are a little bit of a pain. There's mostly one I'm thinking of. After a Bramble Patch section where you can choose to damage boost, there's a monkey there where if you're not really quick, he'll usually peg you, and that's gonna probably knock you down and probably be a reset. They also lag the game when there's a whole bunch of them in that one spot there. I wonder if it might actually be a lag saver to take some of them out while you're climbing. I'm not sure. There's the monkey doing exactly what I said he would. Knocking Tolu out with coconuts. Yeah, Simba is really awkward to control whenever you have to turn around left to right, or you need to sort of stop moving and then start moving again. Anytime that happens, you're fighting the controls to make it happen, basically. So in an hour and a half, you're probably not going to see these guys get super comfortable with that. They're probably going to have to be consciously thinking about their inputs every time they get to one of these ledges or every time they have to turn around.
New run.
Here it is. It's closer to the 140. He said he was seeing could be the time to win this match. So it's about a 141. We'll get the official timing in. But that puts the pressures on these other guys to come up with something pretty good. And if they feel like they can't quite get there, there is this time-saving super jump that was recently discovered that they can go for. No one seems to have got anywhere near consistent enough to make it worth it from a statistical point of view, but if you want to try it and try to get lucky, essentially, that is there. I wonder if this 141 will force people to start considering it. I think everyone's going to go for a more optimized run that they can do first. Tolu coming in with a 145. This match just got a good deal closer.
Sure did there. A 145 puts him in, I think, second place, although I'm not sure. There's been such a bunch of runs coming in. I don't know if everything's accurate yet, but...
I just finished Jadian's second run, so everything except for Tolu's latest is up to date.
Thank you. We've got the Lion King soundtrack playing here. It is pretty special. And they did a good job with it. It's really it's a really good soundtrack in general.
Yeah, man, Elton John.
And Westwood Studios did this game, so not the Command and Conquer, of course. But
Lightyear gets hung up on a ledge there that maybe prevents him from getting a new PB. We'll get it timed out.
Oh, I didn't even
We'll
send
see.
it. Never mind, I didn't send it, so don't worry about it.
definitely feel free to send those in the future. If you're not sure whether or not it's faster, we'll double check
Well, it
for
was a
you.
mistake, but yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Or at least it wasn't like a 141 or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about these panther skips, but
No.
basically you're supposed to stop and fight these panthers. I think there's like 6 of them, but adult Simba can roar to stun them and then sort of get underneath them and do this throw move that is an instant kill. But more importantly, it shifts Simba very far over to the side, so you can use that to actually get through these panther gates. The first one seems very consistent, but I've seen the second one trip some people up a little bit.
The second one, that one seems to lunge right away at you. Even if you roar.
Okay, all the times are up to date currently. Jadian's last run was 15 frames slower.
Okay. The trick that was in the video I watched for the second Panther den, you just let it attack you, and then once it tires itself out from attacking, you throw it. But it
There you go.
but it's random whether or not it'll attack one, 2, or 3 times.
Right.
I've had 5 times once without attacking it.
Ow.
Well, these times are seeming to settle down into the 140s. Probably the lower 140s is what we're looking for.
Speaking
Pretty
of
much
lower
everyone.
140s,
We may get a sub 140, we'll see.
that was about a 142, I think, from Lightyear.
From Lightyear, yeah, and that's definitely enough to bring him up above Tolu, so that's going to be second place for him.
I imagine it won't be long before we see people resetting until they get this, I don't know what to call it. Claw jump, slash jump, rising claw. That sounds like a fighting game move. Rising claw.
Rising Claw hidden skip.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right off the bat, there's one pretty close to the start, and I won't be surprised if we start seeing people reset right there. Getting through the vines quickly at the start also is a bit of a sticking point, so that's pretty much the only reason why you wouldn't reset there. You're not really guaranteed to get a clean run through those vines.
Well, we have the timing come in from Lightyear's run. It's a 142.47. So he is just over 1.5 seconds slower than Jadian, just under 2 seconds slower than Jadian. And that's a lot of ground to cover in such a short goal. A few seconds is a lot. But we see that overall there's maybe 2 seconds between Jadian and Lightyear, another 2 to 3 between Lightyear and Tolu. It's about the average spacing between all of our players here. 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds is basically the difference between getting one of these rising claws and, well, maybe more like 2, but...
So which of these runs that we have on the board uses that skip? Has anyone managed to get that in a completed
Oh, the
run
big
yet?
skip? I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's really gone for that.
Even
I
gone
don't
for it.
think
I
anyone
didn't.
has.
I thought I saw a few slashes at that jump, but I didn't think there were any completed ones. What'd you say, Ark?
I don't think I saw any that had it in.
I try it for once per run because it doesn't really cost that much time for a single try, but
Yeah, I have seen people going for it, but yeah, so far no big ones, and that'll be a big difference because I think I had estimated maybe 8 seconds. It could be more or less, but assuming they get it the first time, they probably have about... I don't know, how many times do you think they could go for it before it's not even going to save them anything? It only costs about 1.5 seconds per jump, really.
4 or
I'd
5
say
by
2 or
that
3.
then.
Yeah.
You can get the boulder pretty quick. You don't have to climb up to the top section to knock the boulder down. You can jump from the bottom and hit the vine.
Yeah.
So I think it is closer to like 5 seconds.
I think so. Okay, so you really got to get that thing within the first maybe 3 jumps before it's worth doing
Yeah,
that skill.
and it also means like even if you get it first try, you didn't just win the match. You know, you still have to have a pretty clean run because it's really easy to lose 5 seconds to miss pretty much any jump, and that's close to 5 seconds. But catch some of these ledges that you maybe didn't have to, or miss one of these turnaround jumps, and suddenly that 5 seconds is mostly gone.
So just over 10 minutes left on the clock here. Coming down to the last third of this match. It'd be interesting to see if any of the strats these players are using change.
That one's fast or not. Send it.
Yep, send it just in case. We'll see. Get the exact timing and find out. So what
remember
happens?
that
Go for it.
Lightyear's got a 144 displayed, but his time is actually more like a 142.
That's right, yeah, a little bit late on that split, I see.
Do you remember what you were going to say before I cut you off?
Let me think about that. Yeah, when the timer runs out, when the timer hits 0, the players don't have to stop playing, but they aren't allowed to reset anymore. So they can finish whatever run they're working on when time runs out. And we'll give them a warning just before that point, so they can choose to get in a final reset if they'd like.
Yeah, that is. Well, we've called it sudden death in the past, but maybe we'll call it something more like last call.
Sudden death. Well, it's last call, then sudden death.
Sure.
Something
all
about
right.
the name, I think. It just adds some gravitas to it, right?
Looked like Lightyear there got the Panther skip, but then the second Panther was already out and clawing back. We got up. It's a little random. You can't do much about something like that.
It's not too bad for the first one, because you get the full health bug right after it. The other ones can be worse.
Oh, there are health pickups?
Yeah. But you like run into them.
Are the gold bugs health pickups?
Yeah, the checkered one I think is a full health. The kind of straight gold or brown is like 4 bars or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And the other meter, that's your roar meter, right?
Yeah.
And that'll just recharge over time.
Yeah, and it empties when you get hit.
Mm-hmm. We get Tolu finishing a run. It's very close to his PB. We'll see what side of his PB that falls on. Ark will let us know in a moment. And now Lightyear gets a run in. Looks like it is 3.7 seconds improvement from what he had on his manual splits, but we don't know if the splitting was accurate. Either way, it looks like it was an improvement. So
It did look accurate that time, so I think this 141 is pretty close to accurate, and that means it could very well be our new first place time.
141. Well, yeah, it could be because Jadian has a high 140, and it's
Even
certainly
better at those like claw jumps or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that only helps you if you manage to slash it the right part of the jump, right?
Yeah. I know you can do it too late and it won't count.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely
If you do it
do
too
it.
early, it seems to stunt your jump entirely.
Yes, you can prevent yourself from making the jump entirely. That's the only reason why you might not want to try for it, but I think you have to miss it by a pretty big window in order for that to happen, so it's somewhat safe to go for a claw jump.
Yep. And I think we're playing at a pretty high level right now. I mean, even at this stage in the tournament, really, there's nothing but great players. So you got to expect that everyone's going to be going for anything, any reasonably achievable trick is automatically in.
Especially these players with the 141 times. At that point, there's, how much more can you really do to optimize things?
For the emulator, we're using SNES 9X. We chose that because it's got pretty good Lua support, and we rely on Lua for the tools that we use, the timers that you see on the top of everyone's screens, Lua script, and the tool which sends the runs to our servers every time they submit one. It's also reasonably accurate. Not the most accurate emulator, but it's better than some.
And it's more stable than BizHawk.
Yes, that's the reason we don't use BizHawk, which would otherwise be the best emulator to use. Just stability.
I remember we were trying to see if we could switch over to it, and it was like, well, how about we ask people to test it? And someone was like, I can't capture it at all, and I only get 2 frames a second, and it crashes every 5 minutes. Like, yeah, it was just everyone had all kinds of different, unique, lovely little problems.
Right. It's in development, though. They're constantly releasing new versions, and I think after a little while, you're going to see.
I'm pretty sure this is sub 40.
Let me see. Wait. We haven't gotten there yet.
Could be. He gets hung up a little bit on that
that's-
last ledge.
That's absolutely sub 40.
What?
Look at that. Well, that's going to be really tricky to beat. And Lightyear also with a sub 40 had a sub 40 time. His came out to 139.63. So we'll see.
So he did have the lead for that short little.
Yeah, for
bit
that short
there.
period, but we don't know. He may still have it because
It's true.
it was a high 139, I think, is what Jadian's looking at. And still 4 minutes left on the clock, so even after we get the results of this, these players will still have time to do another couple runs. Yeah, that's extremely close. It's going to be frames difference between them.
How much time is left?
3:45 on my stream. SGL stream in the
All
background.
right, getting down to it then.
There is a 2-frame difference.
Oh man!
Lightyear's
the
still
lead.
ahead.
Dang! Wow.
That's
Lightyear.
crazy.
Wow.
Yep, 2 frames difference.
That stupid ledge.
Yeah, that ledge at the end. That totally. I think it might have got both. No, it was a different one that got Lightyear. But yeah, right at the very end, all you need to do is you want to drop down and then hold left. But if you hold left too soon, Simba grabs that ledge, and you can press down to fall off of it pretty quick. But it's definitely just a little slower. Absolutely more than 2 frames. Now here's the thing, if you're trying to beat someone who's got a 140 time, then your best so far is about a 145. Do you start to look at that super jump skip a little more favorably? I don't know.
You might. Then again, if you're not one of the 2 guys who has a 139, you'll have to be a bit concerned about beating the other person. Because let's say you're resigned yourself to not being able to get sub 140. Maybe now you work on taking 3rd place. Or maybe see if maybe you can get that skip and put yourself in first or second place. I don't know. Too many
Something
unknowns
these guys
here.
have to decide pretty much now before the next time they get to it. It looks like Toad's going ahead and going for it. DH Stom in chat is you're right. The manual splits are inaccurate. That's why we rely on someone who times it down to the frame.
Yep.
So we can
100%
absolutely,
accurate.
Yeah, make sure who is on top. Even
We
if
have
it's
still had
just
some
2
ties,
frames.
though.
We still have had frame perfect ties. Yes.
Yeah, this game only runs, or most of the games we play only run at 60 frames per second. I guess even the Game Boy runs at like a high 59, so about 60 frames a second. So that's not insane. You can still have it tie at that point on a
Yeah.
very highly optimized run.
Got it.
We got something successful coming through here. Let's see.
Sub 39.
Does not grab the ledge this time.
That's a sub 39 indeed. Like high to mid 138 there.
Ball is back in Lightyear's court here.
Ah, I had a good one. Boulder.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, the hitbox on that boulder is a little weird. Yeah, that was a 120 something by the boulder. Pretty good.
Coming
I
down
guess
to it less than 30 seconds here.
We're dealing with less than a second difference, so I guess you need to be more accurate than a 120 something to know exactly how good of a run it was, but still.
Alright, we got the board updated. Jadian's was a 138.75, so almost a second faster than Lightyear's. And here we are. We're at last call, guys. This is your last chance to reset. Otherwise, you'll be stuck with your run. And no more resets past right now.
Alright, going for it.
So we see Toad is reset. Tolu is reset. Lightyear's just barely started a run. So we got some fresh ones here.
Yeah, this is a reset heavy goal too. There's some spots that you'd want to reset if you screw up very early on. So this last run doesn't count for as much as it does in some other goals. If we gave them like an extra minute, that would be way more useful than just one run.
Yep, it's true.
See what happens here.
Toad's missing some claw jumps here. But otherwise, seems pretty good. Gets a 3-4 attack Panther.
Yeah, that's gonna be enough. Definitely not gonna be enough. We'll continue to finish it anyway.
Tolu's down, so his 140. I can't see the stream.
Ooh.
I know the 146.
Toad is down as well.
Oh, there it is.
2 dead Simbas. Lightyear's
So
run
Lightyear's at the end of a
continues.
run here, but he's just past 140 already. So
It's not gonna be enough.
Yep, about a 144 that he finished with.
no bonus points for consistency, unfortunately. Just the fastest time. So Jadian is the winner of the first match here. Lightyear in second, and I believe Tolu in third.
Yep, I think our places didn't change with that last one right there. So yeah, this is what we have. And remember, it's not just a matter of what place you came in. Ultimately, it has to do with each player beating each other player 2 out of 3 times, or between each matchup of players, the person who's beats the other 2 out of 3 times wins against them. And only one person is going to end up advancing today. So we could have exactly the opposite board next time.
Yep, and then that will ensure that everyone is still alive going into the third match.
That's right.
I'm just gonna take a quick break.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a break for just a few minutes to get yourself rested up. Rest your hand, I'm sure. Also, Tolu, can you re-download the script? Because we made a slight update that lets us sync up the comparison videos. It's going to have a different file name, too.
Sure, give me a second.
Sure, no problem. Alright, so give us a moment, and these players, when they come back, we're going to give them another mystery game, and they'll have 1 hour to learn the goal for that game, and then we'll have another 30-minute match like what we just did. And that'll be our second match of 3. We'll do that one more time, and our winner will be determined. Here on SGL, we're always looking for new goals and new games for us to play. Right now we do NES, Super Nintendo, and not Genesis, Game Boy. We're soon going to be moving into Genesis, Master System. Those two are the ones that we've announced so far. We have a couple others on the back burner that we're going to work on, but it's just a matter of adapting our script to work with other systems. But if you've got suggestions for games or for goals, please get in contact with us because we're always looking for new stuff. A lot of the goals used in this tournament were ones that the players themselves submitted. We asked each of the players that entered to submit 2 goals to us, sort of like the Mystery Tournament does with its games. So a lot of them came from them, but also myself, Mythical, Boatless, and a number of other people have contributed a lot of goals to it too.
Goal suggestion from the Greenleaf Effect: Dark Death Mountain in Zelda 2.
We did Light Death Mountain, but Dark Death Mountain would be fun. I mean, it might be cool if we just really overpowered the characters, just gave them max stats and see if they could do it, but yeah, that's a tall order.
So what was the goal for the first Lion King then? Like the way one that both people forfeited.
It was level
Boneyard,
3.
Elephant Graveyard.
Yeah, the Elephant Graveyard, and there are some max health upgrades you can pick up, and in that one the player had none.
Right.
And these hyenas, when you fight them as a young Simba, all you can do is wait for them to tire out and then jump on them. And so when there's 2 of them and one's attacking while one's tired, you can't jump on them or you'll take a hit. And it's just kind of a mess.
It's
And
tricky.
there's
It's
some
actually not too
vultures
hard.
that are hard too.
Once you know the pattern, but we gave it to them as a mystery game, and that was a lot to ask them to do. This is a fun game, a lot of good levels in it. You'll definitely see more Lion King on SGL.
DH Tom wants a Deadly Towers goal. What do you think about that, Fiesel?
I love it.
Of course you do.
See, the problem is the players have to vote for it. We put all these choices out. I mean, I can make any wacky goal I want, but you think I haven't thought of putting Hide in as a goal. But the problem is these players get to vote, and in addition to voting how much or how little they like a game, they can also veto one of the games. So sometimes when you put in a game like that, it's basically acting as veto bait, just using up the vetoes so they can't veto something else. And while that is kind of helpful in getting some of the less popular games finally chosen, I feel bad doing that to the players, intentionally at least. Alright, do we have everybody back now?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's 2 people.
Here.
3? Who do you suppose we don't have?
This person is. Chat's here. All right, we're good to go. The chat's here.
The chat's here? Oh, Tolu, did you get the other script downloaded?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And it has like the flashing square in the corner when you start it?
Hold on, let me check if it works.
Oh, that's right, you don't have it loaded because we haven't given the goal out yet.
Let me just actually boot it up.
Wait, so who are we waiting on? We've got Tolu, we've got Lightyear, right?
Got Jaden.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Jadian, so it's Toad that's AFK.
that's all right. I think everyone
We're
wants
jamming out
to
to this music. The music's still
catch their
going.
breath a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
this
What music do you have playing?
We still got the Lion King's Nest soundtrack playing.
Nice.
So nobody watching the VODs is hearing any of this because it's all Disney music. So we've been muted.
Oh, right.
But-
Yeah, darn.
So it doesn't really matter what we say at this point.
That's a dangerous call.
I don't see any flashing things.
Let's see. Hit restart one more time.
Hello.
Oh, never mind, it's there.
You got it? Cool.
Yep.
Very
Oh,
good.
done.
So I guess we can explain, while we're waiting for Toad here, I can explain these comparison videos that you saw in the last match. They're synced up to each of these players. Every time they restart their run, you see a little flashing square in the corner, and that's what the video mixer looks for when it decides how to sync up the comparison run. And it looks like Toad's back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I know Jadian was saying in chat that he's definitely thankful for this little break. His nerves are a little shot after being backed up against the wall there by 2 frames and coming through.
Yeah, I walked away with a minute left on the clock because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get another run.
All
Sorry,
right.
It wasn't even like grandstanding. It was like I just need to recover for a moment. This time is better spent getting into a better mental, physical space than
Yeah.
doing another run.
All right, well, our next game's been announced here. It is going to be Actraiser.
Oh,
Yeah.
Actraiser is a really cool game. I don't think we're going to be doing any sim building.
Nope. There won't be any sim building this time.
Darn. It's a little. It would be bad for a mystery goal, but I mean maybe for a main game. I'm not sure how sort of automated it is once you know what to do.
It's just that it's long. Is the problem.
It is long. We'd have
it-
to start it partway through.
And there is a lot of strategy to the sim building, and a lot of tech to it. There's a lot of stuff you have to know, but it's not very obvious. It's all really subtle things that would be very difficult for players to master in a mystery match. Maybe if they had a week to work on it, if we did a week-long goal of it. But it's also spread out over a long period of time, so there's just lots of downtime. Maybe a little long for SGL. If we ever made like a long format SGL, we could do something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Bloodpool Act 2. I know Act 1 is sort of manticore looking thing that you fight.
Yeah, this is the wizard that shoots lightning and appears in different spots.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a little bit of randomness in that boss, but there are strats for hitting him regardless of where he appears. So we'll see how much that makes a difference. The stage itself, I don't think is all that tricky. In fact, it's got a lot of places where you're probably just not going to be saving or wasting a lot of time. So I'm imagining that most people's times are going to be very similar going through the level, so it's going to be a matter of how consistently they beat the level with the time they like, which will determine how many attempts they get at the boss. So even a pretty RNG heavy boss can still come down to speedrun skill in a format like this.
This is a really cool game. The second one, actually, people are divided on that one because what makes this one special is there's these sim sections in between levels where you're sort of helping people build up a town, and you play as this little cherub guy who flies around and shoots things and guides them on how to build their city. And it was you don't see that a lot in SNES games, let alone pairing it with a regular platformer like this. And also how you do in the sim section affects your abilities in the platforming stage, which is a really interesting thing. And so this game was kind of special, and then the sequel came out, and it was just platforming. They took out the sim thing, so it wasn't really special in that way. It just was a really solid platformer with some really interesting movement controls.
Yeah.
So some people who really like platformers recognize it as a really, really good platformer, and some people who really liked the sim aspect recognize it as the one that doesn't have the sim aspect, therefore it's bad. So, but we're playing the first one, who I think everyone agrees is pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. The platforming is a lot simpler than Actraiser 2 if you've ever played that. It's not very much to it. You jump and you attack, and you can use magic. The magic that you use is stuff that you get in the sim section. The way the sim interacts with the game is that you have a certain number of people, a population in all of your cities, and that helps determine what your hit points are. So you get level ups in your characters based on what kind of population. And you also get, by doing side quests in the sim sections, doing certain things like chopping down certain trees or populating a certain area or closing off a certain monster spawn point, will give you spells, or they'll give you additional charges of your spell, additional uses of the spell that you have equipped. The spells you sort of accumulate up over time doing the various worlds of the game, and every time you go into one of these side-scrolling sections, there's a part where you can choose which spell you want to equip. So these guys right here have, I'd say, an average or above average stats coming in here. I played through the first level and spent some time grinding in it a little bit just to get my population up before moving on to Bloodpool. This game is divided into, I think, 7 different areas. See, 6 or 7, something like that. And the way it works is every time you enter a new area, before you can even set foot on that new continent or that new piece of the continent, you have to do one of these side-scrolling sections. And that'll be Act 1 of whatever city it is. And once you've done that, it'll give you access to the ground portion of it, the sim part. And you go in there and you have to close up a certain number of monster spawn points, at which time the monster's lair will open up, and then you go into the Act 2 battle, the side-scrolling part. Right now, you're seeing the side-scrolling part of Bloodpool, which is the second stage. So Bloodpool Act 2 means it's the final boss of Stage 2. So we're not very far into the game at this point. Actraiser is one of the very early Super Nintendo games. I seem to remember the box that the Super Nintendo came in had pictures of some of the games that you could buy on it, and I think that I seem to remember Actraiser on that. I don't know if that's a false memory or if that's real, but I know it was pretty early in the NES cycle, so this was one of the games that Nintendo licensed to put out, or licensed, or I don't think they developed it. Right, this was
It's definitely not Nintendo developed.
not Nintendo
Enix,
built.
I think.
Enix? Yeah, that
Sounds right.
So,
That would also explain why it was so popular. Normally a game with sort of weird mechanics like that wouldn't necessarily
Square Enix.
reach
yes.
the mainstream. But if there were only so many games out at the time, then definitely it starts to look much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So,
I'm sure Nintendo was pretty careful about what games it had published at the outset. I mean, you want the launch titles to be ones that are really going to be broadly appealing and visually interesting and show off all the things that it can do.
Yeah, Super Mario World, maybe the best launch game ever.
Yeah, it sure does use most of the stuff that the SNES is capable of. I mean, I remember seeing Castlevania 4, and there are certain levels of it that you can tell are just like demos for Mode 7. You know, it's like the level where you walk through the spinning tube. It's just like, hey, this is Mode 7, look what it can do. Then there's a level where the screen rotates, you hook onto that hook point, and then the whole screen turns, and then the Medusa heads come out. That's just for the purposes of showing, hey, look what we can do now. This game has that in the transitions from the overworld into these side-scrolling sections. It'll fly out to like a broad view of the map, and then it'll slowly like zoom in on the spot that you're swooping down to, because it's supposed to simulate the avatar of God swooping down to Earth.
Not God, Master.
Oh, Master, right? That's right.
That's what the localization
The
would
Master.
have you believe.
Yeah, in the US version. I'm pretty sure they were more explicit about it being a deity in the Japanese version. In fact, I think the US version didn't explain the full story, and you have to look to the Japanese translation to get that. But
Yeah, I think it gets a little lost in their efforts to sort of cover up the religious aspect.
I believe some things were also changed for the European version of this game too, or maybe not changed, but at least made different, like subtle changes. I think I've heard that spikes are actually instant kill in the European version, no matter where they are.
Well, it's good you're not playing that one, because there's a couple of spikes here. In terms of game mechanics, it's pretty simple. You have a standing slash and a crouching slash. Standing is faster, but crouching kind of sticks out a little more. And you've also got a jumping slash, which is pretty similar to your standing slash.
except it doesn't slow you down when you slash, right? In the air.
Right, yeah. And it also can give you a bit of a height boost if you use it at the right time.
That's right. And they're probably going to want to be jumping in these water sections because that's, I think, a little bit faster than walking. Yeah, it appears to be. Another odd thing about the mechanics is that the jumps are both committal and non-committal. It depends on what kind of jump you do. If you do a forward jump, it'll be a committal jump. You can't change directions.
Yeah.
But
well,
if you
you
start
can
out,
stop going forward. Like if you press left, you'll just kind of fall rather than
then change
continue
direction.
forwards.
Right, but the trick is if you want to be able to have air control, you can do a neutral jump. So that means you press the jump button without holding the D-pad at all, and then begin holding the D-pad once your character's in the air. And at that point, you have full air control. You can go left and right at, I believe, equal speeds once you've started from a neutral jump. So there are some places in some of the tighter platforming bits where you might see the players doing that.
Yeah, I think you can kind of tell based off of his feet whether or not he's in a sort of sideways jump or a neutral jump situation. But yeah, I think that one jumping aspect is pretty much everything about first getting the hang of this game, which is what everyone's kind of doing right now. That's the first thing that's going to feel unnatural and a little weird, and that you're going to need to get used to and work with. But I think everyone's kind of already past that point, really, to be expected from some of our better players.
We're getting our first look at this boss here. Jadian's fighting him right now. There are 6 places he can teleport to, and it's tricky. The first thing he'll do when he appears is shoot a volley of bullets out, which you can dodge because their pattern is pretty predictable. And then the next thing he's going to do is a lightning strike. And you can actually hit him during part of the lightning strike because the lightning comes in 3 segments, like near, middle, and then far. So you can spend, even though you don't know exactly where the boss is going to teleport to, you should be able to hit him regardless of where he's at, get in a few hits each cycle. Some of the cycles let you get in more hits than others, so that randomness unfortunately is going to affect the player's times. So really, their strategy is just going to have to be getting as consistent as they can with the level itself so they have as many tries as they can get at that boss. And certainly the number of hits that they can get in each of the positions that he appears, that's going to be a matter of skill. They have a lot of health to work with here. The damage boosting in some cases is quite a bit faster than attacking your way through an enemy, just because attacking slows you down so much. There's also a health refill at the top of this shaft that you see Lightyear on right now. But I don't know that any of the players are going to be going for it.
As soon as you tell him about it, he's like, "Oh, maybe I'll
let's
go
at
check
least
that
try.
out."
Just in case, just see where it is.
Found another one earlier in the level, but
Not as helpful. But yeah, you don't get very many invincibility frames at all, and you always seem to get knocked backwards. So damage boosting is it's a little hard to find situations where it is faster, but this level in particular seems to have a lot of spots where just running straight through things works out pretty good. Of course, this wizard can turn into a werewolf. I believe if you time it well / get lucky, you can kill him before he does that.
Yeah, these.
Yeah.
I believe that's true. I don't remember if I gave these guys any magic. I don't think I did.
No, you didn't.
I don't think I did.
You don't need magic.
It's also pretty early on, so the only spell that you're... Well, I don't know, maybe can you get the star spell at this point?
That's what's in the speed run.
The speedrun used the star spell. You definitely don't want that, though, for this goal, because that makes it too easy. The star spell's just... You don't want that. I mean, I don't want that, and therefore you guys shouldn't.
It's a little bit
thought you were gonna
random,
be like-
too.
It's totally not helpful at all. You don't want that.
Yeah. The
Big
star
odds.
spell is awesome, and the speedrun gets it pretty quickly and makes use of it all over the place. The problem is it is random, because it's a bunch of stars that rain down from the sky, and it's you can't really control what star pattern you get, and each one hits individually. So it's the kind of thing that you could get just instantly crush a boss, or you could get almost no hits at all. So it's kind of obnoxious, but it is definitely the way to go for a real speedrun. I think normally though you have to do something special to get that early. Normally the magic you would have at this point would be the fire magic probably.
Which is, it's okay.
It's okay, but there's not a lot of scenarios where it's better than just swinging your sword.
They get some use on the Minotaur boss. I can't remember if that's 2, Fillmore 2 or not. I think so. Yeah, because the first one's that centaur guy. You can use it to use... you have invincibility frames while you use magic. And that's the primary use of the fire magic, I think, in the speedrun. We still have the Lion King music going, but I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. The playlist started to repeat though, so I switched this over to Mega Man 5.
I wonder if eventually we'll see guys just trying to like guess where this guy's going to appear. I think he's going to be right here, so I'm just going to stand here and start swinging. If this goal really does become all about this boss.
I've played this boss before because of a bonus goal or a bonus game
Right, yeah.
where we did boss rush.
Yep.
And it seemed like if you stood more on one side of the screen, he would spawn on the other side.
That could be.
It's nice to have some control over that, even if it is the opposite of the way you'd want it to be. But
That's right. The thing that he played was a boss rush mode. The very end of the game, there's a boss rush. You have to go and redo all these bosses. It's quite a bit different because at that point you have a lot of stats, a lot of hit points, you have all the magics. You have many casts of each of the magics, so it's quite a bit different. But at the same time, yeah, it is fighting the boss in the same place, and he has the same patterns. This game also has something called Professional Mode, which you can only get if you've got a completed game file. You can play again in Professional Mode, and that lets you just play the side-scrolling sections. So you just play the 2 side-scrollers for each of the worlds, and then do the final boss rush at the end. And skip all the sim parts. And I know PJ has worked on that run. He may still be the person with the Professional Mode record.
I think it was one of his first speedruns. But it being a PJ run, I wouldn't be surprised if even his earliest run still stood up at this point. So I'm seeing an extra spot or two where some players are using the jump slash in midair to get a little extra distance out of their jumps and save a jump or two, because you do lose just a little bit of time jumping with whenever you, I can't tell if it's when you take off, but definitely when you land, you lose some time.
Yeah, it seems to be the landing, not the jump. I wonder if you can jump immediately as you land and skip that.
Chain them together like Robocop versus Terminator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a number of games that work like that, and it's tricky. Once you start jumping, you have to keep jumping.
Yeah.
And if you mess any of them up, then you're no better off than you started.
I think the Darkwing Duck TAS is just jumping all the time.
That's right, that's one of those games that works like that, yes. It's interesting to see how the same concept can happen across completely unrelated games. We see that a lot with glitches, too.
Oh right, Bad Bricks in chat is lamenting over the forgotten key in his Zelda race earlier today, but he had someone in the room with him. He had like a buddy right there.
That person's not a buddy if they didn't warn you about your missing key. That's how you know who your friends are.
Yep. If you need to move out, or if you need them to watch your back during a race, that's when you know who your friends are. Because only a friend will help you move.
How much time is left?
40 minutes.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Of time.
That's a lot of
It
time.
is a lot of
I don't
time.
think we even need all this time. How about we just call it time at
Go!
30 minutes?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Sounds
Alright.
good to me.
Let's go right now. If you guys want to go early, fine, but...
I would suppose at this point a significant amount of time would go into just trying to manipulate the boss. Just doing a bit of research.
Yep, this is a pretty short goal. But I think these are fun in many ways, actually. They're fun for the players, I think, because they get to actually feel like they've completely wrapped their head around the routing. You know, coming into this often not being able to see a speed run or not having any idea what the optimal strats are, you have to make stuff up on the fly. And sometimes people get to the point where they're actually starting the 30-minute match and they haven't even solidified their strats. And then you have games like this, which are not too long, not too much to it, and over the course of an hour, you have a chance to try out a whole lot of different things and be really confident that you're doing the right strat.
That peace of mind can go a long way in your performance. I know it definitely would for me.
Sure, and you certainly know what your reset thresholds should be, what's a normal amount of time to be at when you hit certain milestones.
Yeah, you can be a little more intelligent about the strategic element of the show.
Bad Breaks asks, who's looking like the favorite here?
Well, Jadian's got the first win over these three other guys, so that's just a big plus.
Sure.
Coming into this match, I don't know. It's pretty close. I would suppose, based off of seeding and rating, it would be either Jadian or Toad. But Lightyear's a pretty strong player. You mostly just didn't have a lot of matches.
Yeah, the seedings,
And
take
Tolu
those with
has
a grain
done
of salt.
so many episodes.
Yeah, Tolu's probably got the most SGL experience of all these players here. So that really will count for a lot. And yeah, you got to take the seeding with a grain of salt. When we use a scoring system, but it's not, I mean, it's nowhere perfect. There's not going to be anything that's perfect, and this is probably one of the simpler ones that we could have used. So also, given the small data set that we have to work with, the seeds are really just suggestions. But, you know, if you can't, you got to base it on something, I guess. Base it on the seeding.
It's also a little tricky too because the regular week-long practice episodes and the mystery game episodes are kind of different beasts, so someone might be stronger in one and weaker in the other.
Card says that seeding doesn't matter. He's the example.
Yep, I think Cards has beaten 2 people with a higher seed so far. through sheer persistence and
gumption.
practice.
Yeah, let's see the path each of these guys took to get here.
Ooh, that was a quick kill.
You guys know what patterns you want to see from the boss? What's the best place for him to appear?
I'll just watch my stream in a second.
Looked like
Definitely at the bottom, second time.
Yeah,
somewhere.
well, the upper one, or the middle one there, seemed alright too.
Yeah, it's definitely the top one that's worst.
Yep.
The two worst are the very top and the very bottom. Because on the very bottom, he'll just shoot the 3 purple bullets and then run. And then on the very top, it's hard to hit him.
Right, so you want middle as much as possible.
Don't mind Toad's screen. Just the most bizarre glitch I think I've ever seen. We've had our fair share of technical difficulties and strange glitches, but this one I think takes the cake. But we can't figure it out, and you know, these guys are on the clock. It wouldn't be fair to make Toad lose time over figuring it out. So we're just gonna have this avant-garde little setup here for Toad's screen.
Right, if you're wearing the Oculus Rift, it looks fine, but to everyone else...
Yeah. If you cross your eyes a little bit, it
Just
works.
cross your eyes.
I swear.
Put on the Rad Racer glasses, it looks normal. Yep, most of the problems that people have, we've been able to solve before, but this is one. This is a brand new one. I think
Where I'm standing.
From where you're standing?
Tolu is just getting well acquainted with the spikes there, but
Can you jump on those spike things and skip these platforms? I was wondering if there's any kind of skip for these platforms that come in and out of the wall, because it seems like that's going to be a bottleneck. I think each one of them... Yeah, so you can stand on it, but can you jump off of that thing?
Yeah, you can, but you can't really get anywhere nice.
You can't reach anything from it.
Yeah.
Too bad. So, I don't know if these are all on the same timer, or if each one has a different timer depending on when it was first spawned on the screen. If it's the latter case, if each one has its own independent timer, then just making your jumps as quickly as possible is maybe going to be the way to save frames. Otherwise, if it's all on the same timer, then there's nothing you can do to speed that up. I guess we'll see. Once we see some of those comparison videos up, we can pay attention to that.
there is a sort of wall. I guess it's called the wall jump glitch, but it's a little misleading. What you actually do is get knocked into the wall and then start zipping upwards rapidly with the jump button. But we have disallowed that for this goal. It would make things a little too simple here with these elevators, all these vertical sections, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to be able to skip those elevators, but...
Yeah, that's true.
But for other places, yeah, we don't want to take too much away from the goal.
But if I recall, it's somewhat easy to do. You just kind of face the wall or face away from the wall and take a hit.
And then suddenly you're in it, yep. Yeah, maybe we could do something where we allow it in some places but not others. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's
we-
just some kind of almost arbitrary
Yeah,
distinctions.
I mean, banning specific glitches is already kind of arbitrary, but allowing them in some places but not others starts to get a little hokey.
So what kind of times are you expecting from this?
You
1
know,
minute.
I don't know. 1 minute. I actually don't know yet what to expect. I don't remember my time on this. Let me go check the world record run and see what it does this in.
Is the boss purely RNG based?
Jadian was saying it felt like he was more likely to appear on the opposite side of the room, but he is largely random.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. At least he's only spawning at the top, and then he spawns opposite of you. Judging from just loading from the same state over and over again. Yeah.
Yep, I think for Season 2, we're looking at getting a whole bunch of other consoles on the show that'll open up a whole bunch of games.
So about 240 is what the professional mode world record, or no, actually it's the second place time. But yeah, about 240 is what this guy's getting on professional mode, but he is doing the wall jumps, so you guys are going to be a little bit slower than that.
For just Act 2?
I think so.
Doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right. Okay, let me see if I started the timing at the wrong spot. Oh, yep, I was including Act 1. My bad.
That's a big difference.
Yep.
Entire level. You must do Act 1 really fast then.
Oh, okay, I see. No, that was just Act 2, but this run that I'm looking at has got a death in it. Oops. I'll load up PJ's run.
Alright, I'll be
second
back in a
place run.
second.
Okay. We'll still be practicing, I'm sure. 28 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I don't know how this boss works.
You got 28 minutes to try to understand it a little better.
Yep, if you're going to set a save state for the boss, set it before you enter the boss's chamber, otherwise you're probably going to get the same RNG every time.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Gotten the time from the other run you said you were going to look at?
I did not.
Probably waiting for an ad to finish.
No, I got wrapped up in reading the plot of Actraiser.
There's enemy TV in chat watching us instead of practicing for his match tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow they're playing Young Indiana Jones Chronicles for the NES. They're doing 2 goals of that, and they're going to be given a mystery goal as well to do with a different game. But yeah, that's starting tomorrow at, help me out, noon? Is it?
Yes.
Yes, noon tomorrow, Eastern Time. Noon Eastern Time.
Yeah, I had the stream muted, and then I got like a Star Wars ad that didn't care about things being muted, and it was also super loud. So that was frightening. Apparently, there's a different one that's basically a screamer. There's Andy in chat says Young Indy is impossible. That's a hard game, and that's a hard goal that we gave them. At least one hard goal, but they're both pretty hard. But one of them in particular is really not friendly. So I don't know really what to expect. I know everyone's put in a lot of time to learn it, but I think we're not going to see a super high level of optimization. I think we're going to see a lot of good enough. Good enough. Yeah, Real Bonner. We can't fix Toad Stream. It's really bizarre. We've looked into a couple things. Like we were like, oh well, it's probably just this, and then it was like, no. Well, maybe this. No. Well, how about why does it do this? Why does it do that? Ah, it's so weird. And 4H there. Andy is also going to be in that episode, so he's also not practicing. He's finding that time better spent complaining about young Indy. You gotta let that negative energy out, man. You can't come into the match with that. You're pretty good at eating food and typing at the same time, Andy. Suspicious. But I agree, food is more important than video games.
Oh crap, I almost made that. Huh.
Whoa. Justin Man 114 says like 12 people that he follows are hosting us, and that's why he's here. Welcome. I'm guessing Zelda 2 fans probably directed you here. Lately our channel has been casting some of these Zelda 2 matches from the Zelda 2 tournament. But this is what we mainly do here is this show called SGL. This is our round 2 of the losers bracket of our playoffs. This is the second match of the night. And only one of these guys is going to advance. The format of the show, at least for today, is it's all mystery games. So basically everyone is, they've been given an hour, here, a minute to learn. Wow, that'd be something. They're given an hour to learn how to speedrun this one section of Actraiser here, which is the game they voted for from a list of games. And after the hour's up, they get 30 minutes and they try to get the best run they can. Fastest time wins, even if it's by 2 frames. TMR's hosting. Dang.
Nice.
Thanks, TMR. I'd go check. You can check which people are hosting you, I think. But my streams all die as soon as I load up anything on Twitch.
Oh, I'll check it out in a minute. I just got the timing on what the professional mode does for this. Professional mode world record. This is PJ's run. He gets a 2:15 on this, and he's not using the wall jumps.
Okay.
Professional mode is the thing to compare this to, because in that mode you go through without anything, basically. You do it all
I was asking because the one run that I've gotten with the timer running so far was a 2:14.
That's right. And in addition, actually, this professional mode, this 2:15 run uses the star magic, although he only gets a couple of hits with it, so I don't think that it's actually helping him all that much.
It's probably more consistent.
It seems not to be, actually. He only used it because the thing spawned at the very top.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Wanna go
If you
up
have a
there?
run where he's not at the top here,
He
you're
hit it
pretty
twice,
much just
though.
gonna lose.
He only hit it twice with the star magic, so you'd think
Oh.
that, and I think each one does as much as a sword swing, so I don't think he's getting any advantage from that. So if anything, these guys are going to have a better time because they get more attempts at the boss. They're not going to have to put up with a run that has a high spawn. Hopefully. Well, we're getting down to the last third of the practice period, so I think the players at this point are pretty comfortable with the level itself. I'm sure there's a few things they're working on refining. A lot of focus now on the boss fight, because this is the spot where it's really going to determine your run.
So this is something I've always wanted to do. Justin Man's a new viewer here, and he recognizes Toad, but he's not sure who these other guys are. I think it'd be cool if do it. I don't want to say like an interview, but like what? Let's start with Jadian. I know you are a noted blind runner, right?
Yeah, although I haven't really been playing late recently.
Yeah, but yeah, he's infamous for doing really well in blind races, particularly Snakebird. Is this puzzle game that's come out recently, and it's become kind of popular to blind speedrun. And Jadian, for some reason, his mind grasps how these snakebirds move much faster than anyone else. Yeah, he's also done SGL a couple times before. He's been usually a very strong player. At one point, he was at the number 1 on our standings. Who else? We got Tolu. Tolu has been doing a ton of our Thursday mystery match episodes. I think he is the player with the no, I think Oud Sigma has him.
Oud Sigma is probably the most.
Yeah.
I think Tolu the second most. A lot of Thursday matches. Joined us fairly late on, although yeah, probably fairly late on, because we did a lot of SGL of this season in 2013, and then it made its revival at the end of 2014, and Tolu joined after that. Jadian and Lightyear, I believe, were both around since the original run of this. In fact, when we first started out in SGL, I asked for feedback from a couple of people to who would be players to ask, and I think Jadian and Lightyear were both on a list from Blecky. Blecky gave us a lot of help when we first started out, and gave us a bunch of goals and a bunch of players to talk to, and hooked us up with a bunch of people. And I think we got Jadian and Lightyear from that list. Toad came into our sphere of NES runners that we're interested in after seeing him. I think the first time I really noticed Toad was during the Big 20, the first Big 20 race. He did exceptionally well at that.
No, Jadian is not Jaden. They are different people.
Different, but not the Zelda.
Both
not the
are
Link to
very
the
good at
Past runner.
games.
No.
I was wondering that actually, because I at some point I was looking at the leaderboards for A Link to the Past, and I was like, wait, has like the record holder for A Link to the Past, like, or second best or whatever it was, been on our show this whole time and I didn't know? Oh no, okay, different people. And yeah, Toad has won the Big 20, which is a really cool race of 20 NES games that everyone has a month to practice for. He's won 2 of them out of 3, so pretty strong to be able to come out on top of there's like what, 20-30 people in those races.
Yeah, on average.
And over 20 games, like, you have to be really solid over all those games in order to come up with a win. So to do it twice, it's pretty awesome. I think he's the only player who's reached 12 wins without a loss.
That sounds right.
So it's an idea of who our players are today. All of them are strong players, and the close competition in the match so far is the result. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out.
That's right. This must be a nice break from Contra. Probably anything
Yes.
besides Contra has got some appeal, just in the fact that it isn't Contra.
The controller's
Okay,
not just
that's.
rattling.
I
all
hope
the
I can
time.
get that in the race. I just made this platform cycle one cycle early.
The platforms that come out of the... Oh, I see, the rising platforms. So they're on a global timer from the start of the level.
Ooh,
huh?
you got kind of
Yeah.
stuck in the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what I
Listen.
figured. There was another level that has a moving platform in it that I know is from a timer from the start of the level.
That seems to be the theme in these games. I know there's in Actraiser 2, there's a set of platforms very similar to these ones in this vertical climb here in the Ice Palace. And PJ kind of does everything he can to get an early cycle on those.
Yeah, the Ice Palace is the one I'm thinking of, because that's the one where it's really apparent. This, man, I wonder if that's going to be the thing to go for now, players resetting if they don't get their early cycle. Given that it only makes a couple of seconds difference, probably continuing on to see what kind of boss RNG you get might be worth it, even if you don't make the fast cycle. That's certainly something to keep in mind. Also, checking out PJ's professional mode run, it appears that he does go for that health right before the boss at the top left of that corridor, that vertical corridor. So he does recharge his health there. And he also appears to do something where he walks through the first set of bullets that the guy shoots when he spawns. The first spawn he gets is in the lower right.
Yeah.
And have you seen that happen?
I saw that on the SDA run that got linked with the
That was it.
ROM. But I don't know what he does for that.
Is it just... I wonder if it was just some hitbox peculiarity.
Might be.
Yeah, it helps to have names to put to voices. And we put that little Skype indicator up, right?
Yeah, it's kind of small.
Blinks
Make it
and gives you a
little
rough
bigger.
idea of who's talking. It's not the greatest. But yeah, my speedrun involvement is mostly through this channel nowadays. So if you haven't seen me here, you probably haven't seen me.
Well, soon
heard me
enough you'll be
rather.
back at the Kabuki Quantum Fighter grind, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I realized that I want to go back on emulator and look at strats, so I don't even actually need to wait for my NES to get fixed. I have no reason for not just doing that. Besides working hard on SGL, I actually am doing some work on a Christmas episode of SGL. I'm probably going to tweet that out pretty soon. But we are looking for players who are interested in doing a Christmas episode.
But it won't be
Perhaps,
on
well, maybe
Christmas.
we'll name it like holiday episode or something. But yeah, it'll be the 20th, Sunday the
We'll do it
20th.
Sunday the 20th, probably.
Yeah. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, it's not going to be all ice levels. There will be some other Christmassy things in there. But yeah, I thought that'd be fun, so I started looking for Christmassy games to play.
Not that we'd be opposed to doing a Hanukkah-themed episode if you can come up with a bunch of games that have that theme.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what if it was just like candles? Like the Mario 3, when those candle flames would
Right.
jump off and shake. I was like, yeah, maybe there's candles. That's as close as I got.
goal
and
is
I
to light a
came up
certain
with
number of them.
Top Man and Mega Man 3.
That's right, Top Man. That's right. We were gonna do that. Yeah, call him Dreidel Man. Right.
Oh! I didn't get the jump there.
That's right, we do have Bible Adventures as the Baby Moses game.
Actually, for a real stretch, I'm thinking of an episode of Friends where I think it's Ross wants his child to know about Hanukkah and not just Christmas. So someone dresses up as Santa, and he's like, crap, I need to dress up as something Hanukkah. So he shows up as like the holiday armadillo or something. So we could have some kind of armadillo game and call him the holiday armadillo.
It's a bit of a stretch, but I
It's a
see
bit of a
where you're
stretch,
going.
yeah. That's
Mega Man
that's
in
just how hard it is to find Hanukkah games.
And how come they didn't make a Friends video game? Come on. we would definitely play that on the show.
Running around New York,
Who
on
knows?
levels of coffee shop. Maybe the friends get shrunk by some sort of experimental device from
There you
Phoebe's
go.
weird uncle or
So
something.
Honey, I
Sci-fi.
Shrunk Your Kids.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
now they're running around like the apartment in the coffee shop. That's basically that entire show, isn't it?
Some Festivus games. Yeah.
A Festivus, anything with a pole. And so, as you can tell, we like to have a little bit of fun on this show too. It's not all just serious games. Sometimes we discuss the merits of armadillos as representatives of Hanukkah.
Well, less than 10 minutes to go. We're getting real close to match time. I wonder how confident these players are feeling.
Not very.
Not very. What do you think's the trickiest part?
The trick that I'm trying to do is save one jump to get that early platform cycle.
The blob boost?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
we
might
thought
not
this
even be
was-
necessary for it, but
We were thinking this was going to be all about the boss, but suddenly this platform cycle skip has become a factor.
yeah, that's how it's supposed to go.
We were saying too that this was one of those things where it's relatively short and nothing about it was super complicated, so we were hoping that players would really get the hang of it, really start to feel like they're on top of things and they got it together, and then we're ready to start it. How do you guys feel? And just no, not good.
We just had to go and make things complicated.
Yeah,
Yep. And I wonder if knowing the outcome of match 1 is going to affect how they proceed here. Jading certainly can feel a bit more confident in these other players, regardless of how he does in this, because he knows he's not going to be eliminated after this match. And we had Lightyear in second, so he's got almost as confident feeling there, though he does need to beat Jadian.
Deadpool Act 2 would be something very different. Actraiser Night Dude just like stops. Mode 7 zooms in on his face as he talks to the camera, breaks the fourth wall. I remember the music in this game is pretty alright. maybe we'll track that down and play some of that.
Yep, we'll definitely have a bit of that.
You might already have it because of the other episode. We have had this on SGL before. As a main game, though. Yeah, the biggest downside of not being able to hear it is you don't hear his sound effects every time he attacks. He's got this like ha, 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 ha. And it's just really satisfying when you wailing on a boss like that. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, we would have to put that into a list of games that players vote on, and then they would never pick it, so... But I mean, well, how much of that is random? All the bullcrap you have to deal with in that game. Is it all completely random, or what? I don't know. If it is, that's no good for the show. Even the random element of where this boss appears is kind of the end, the furthest we want to go with RNG for these goals. A bit of thought goes into which goals we use on the show, but we are still and pretty much always looking for more goals. So if you have an idea of something you think would work well, a short section, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes, I guess, is the sweet spot. With not a whole lot of RNG and lots of gameplay, not a lot of cutscenes or anything. And what's really fun is if it's a game where like you have an inventory or upgrades or something, you can choose to give players whatever you want, really, in the save state. And anything that makes things more interesting, you can go ahead and give that to them. It's kind of fun to come up with goals in some cases.
Yep, some games you have to be kind of creative with them because the any percent route just sort of zips right through and skips all the good stuff. So we'll do stuff like in DuckTales we used the moon level, but we required them to actually get all the large treasure chest items. So the remote and the whatever else you're supposed to get. So they had to actually go through a level that nobody does in any of the speedruns. So got to see a new part of the game. Pretty cool. We did a level in Castlevania 3 that's normally skipped in all the routes.
Yeah, the Sunken City. I did that one actually. That was a really fun one to route out. I remember trying all kinds of new things on enemies that I think were pretty good. Like that one strat where like you throw a cross really early and it goes all the way across the screen, and then 10 seconds later it starts to hit something and prevents it from moving before it can get in your way. So even as a player, I mean, you can find it frustrating sometimes to have to do a bunch of work like that yourself, but it can also be fun and interesting.
Yep, sometimes we end up picking a game that's so obscure that it doesn't have a speedrun, so the players are on their own. Or we'll pick something from a 100% category or all stages for a game that doesn't have a run for that, so we'll end up the players having to make up something. It is also interesting the ones that have very well established speedruns, and players have to look at it and sort of digest what they can do, what they can't do. They have to understand the route that they see well enough to know how to copy and what to copy.
Yeah, if it's a goal where there's a lot of routing decisions to be made and things to be tested, then those work much better as a week-long goal. But we also have these mystery goals where people only get an hour. So if it's a thing where like you can have this thing that makes you fly, or this thing that lets you climb walls, and it's slow to fly, but you can fly, and you have to kind of do the entire stage with both power-ups to see which is faster. That's not cool when you only have an hour.
Yeah, things that require a lot of testing. Yeah, the games you're going to see tomorrow at noon, Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and the 2 goals of that are something that these players have had a full week to work on. And so we usually do that. During a normal season, on Thursday nights we would do mystery matches, just like the format you're seeing here. And it's sort of a pickup game. Players can just show up whenever they have time, and we'll put them into the next match that starts. And so we'll do 3 or 4 of those on a Thursday night. And then for our Saturday matches, we usually have a week of practice. Players get the goal the previous weekend, and they work on it all week. So you get to see very different levels of gameplay. But right now, we're coming down to the end of our practice period, just 40 seconds left here. I want to start getting us switched over to the layout.
Yep, it's time to find out what 1 hour can do for a level of Actraiser. And I agree, Blecky is a great runner to watch. He's been on the show before and did very well. And as we mentioned before, he was actually a really big help in getting us started with players and goals and stuff. So we here at SGL are big fans of Blecky.
Okay, so let's get the scripts loaded up and get everyone set to go, and we'll do the countdown in just a moment.
I've got to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay, sure.
Also, you're watching our playoffs, where these are some of our best players all, coming together and going at it. We do accept players of all skill levels. So if you're kind of a little hesitant, or you're completely new to speedrunning, this is actually a really great way to get into it, because of the way you focus on a small chunk of the game, and you're learning it with other people too who are there to help you out. So don't let that stop you from being a player on SGL. We're going to be finishing up our tournament. We've been pushed back a little bit, so I think we're aiming for mid-December. And soon after that, we're going to launch into Season 2. So if you want to be a player, you can contact us. There are some links you can follow. And I think on the speedgaming.tv there, I think there's one that says be a player.
Yep.
And that will direct you in the right direction.
That's right, and we'll be starting up the next season as soon as this is over. So it looks like we got all four players here. They're all set up to go. I think everyone's screen looks fine to me. So, everyone ready to start?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm going to give you the countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. And they're off. So these players have 30 minutes to make as many attempts as they can of this short goal of the game. They're only playing Bloodpool Act 2. So this one platforming section, it's got a bunch of different subsections to it, but it's basically one level and a boss fight that they have to complete. They had an hour to practice it. None of them had any speedrun experience with the game before, so they're all pretty new to it, learning the strats from scratch here.
Look like the first runs from 3 players are still alive here. It's always kind of fun when everyone's in the same spot at the same time.
Well, not so much. One by one they fall, but that's how it is in a gold that's going to be this optimized. But we still have Lightyear and Tolu pretty much in sync with each other.
Yeah, even though there's not a time on the board, this is a short enough goal with enough sort of not really any hard stuff. There's some stretches of there's stretches of pretty much nothing on these elevators. But even some of the other sections are kind of low input, low maintenance. So I think players are going to have some pretty high standards for themselves, and that means they're going to be resetting, I think, a lot, even without a time on the board.
I'm glad I'm not counting my resets.
Actually, you could turn a number on that shows you exactly how many times you've reset today.
Do you know what the hotkey for it is?
Oh, man.
I don't know. It's
M or something?
It's probably not M. It's probably like slash or
Oh,
question
right.
mark.
I'm thinking of FCUX.
Oh, that's right. I don't even know if there is a hotkey in SNES 9X. I was also thinking of FCUX.
So 2 players have reached the boss here. One of them gets him to spawn on the bottom, and that means the other guy has to reset, because he did not. He spawned up top. It's much slower. And
Finishing this wolf off. That was a close one.
Yep.
First run is in.
Waiting for the text to appear. There it is, about a 2:15. So a really solid way to open up the thing here, and he's gonna have that on the board. Now he can really work on getting something more optimized.
Yeah, and that's about equal to from the world record run through this. Now these guys are gonna have much more of a chance to reset until they get good RNG, whereas the world record run for professional mode has to do several levels before it gets to this point. But that so far is our only standard of comparison. We haven't had this goal on the show before, so we don't know what kind of times to expect. But
yeah, that's always fun. Our Thursday shows tend to do goals that we've already used before, and then it's fun to see how did other people do, and here's your sort of par time. Apparently we got quality options again.
how did we get them again? That's
I don't
weird.
know.
We had over 300 people watching earlier. I don't know how we didn't have quality options at that point.
Maybe just an unrelated video blip another way. We're back. Thank you for joining us once again.
Well, if you're just rejoining us, we did have Tolu with a completed run, and we're going to get the timing for that, but so far that's the only thing on the board. And Tolu's 2:14.9 is the time. That's up there on the board now. We're listening to the Actraiser soundtrack right now. Pretty good stuff. This is an early Super Nintendo game, so you can't necessarily hold it to the same standards as the later games, but it's still a pretty solid soundtrack, I think.
One of Tolu's very next runs gets to the boss here.
And I don't know if this is going to be an improvement. Let's see.
Gonna be close. It is.
Oh, it is by almost 2 seconds.
Yeah, the boss appeared on the ground a couple times. That's really not what you want to see, because he just does one projectile attack and then he's out somewhere else and you can't hit him anymore. When he's on some of these higher platforms, he does this lightning attack that takes a long time and doesn't hit you very often, so lots of time to get in a bunch of hits. That's what you're looking for. You don't want him to spawn way up at the top, though, because it's a little hard to get to him. So one of these two middle platforms is what you're looking for. Jadian demonstrating that nicely, gets him down to half health. It's possible to avoid this transformation, and I suppose the fastest fight probably would do that,
Oh,
but
that was too many splits. Oh well.
oh yeah, that's okay. Splits are mostly just for show and to help you make some decisions on the fly.
That's still a good time though.
208 is a very good time. Oh man. Lightyear just missed the last hit before this wolf transformation. You definitely would have had a time close to that 208. As it is, it's a 211, which is still going to be faster than Tolu's 13, most likely. But yeah, getting the kill on this mage before he turns into a werewolf is pretty tight. You have to do basically over half a health bar in one appearance, which means you need him to be right next to you when he appears, and you need to have got him down to that perfect amount of health in the round before. So getting both of those things to align is pretty hard. A bit of interesting speed tech is if you slash in midair, it sort of extends your jump just a little bit. You almost can't even see it, but there's a couple jumps that you can only really make when you use this technique.
Right now we have an orchestral version of the Actraiser music playing. The Actraiser Symphonic Suite.
Yeah, SNES games tend to sound pretty alright when you turn them into an orchestrated version. The SNES sound chip is basically sort of trying to mimic various instruments.
Yeah, that's true. On the NES, it's sort of up to interpretation what's supposed to be what instrument. I mean, you have square waves and triangle waves to work with, but you know, what instrument it's supposed to represent can sometimes be a little unclear.
It's a double bassoon. I swear. I wish I could hear it, but if I tune into the stream, I get copies of my own voice.
Alright, we're getting some comparison videos up here so you can check it out. Each of these players is being compared against the person who's next up in the order, and the person who's in first is being compared against their own personal best run. So we see Lightyear and Jadian are both being compared to Jadian's 206. And Tolu, as soon as that video's finished rendering, is going to be compared against Lightyear's 210.
Yeah, I think watching the comparison videos is going to be a good way to see how things are going.
That's right, yeah, with all these micro-optimizations, this kind of thing will be very useful.
Looks like Lightyear's opting to go after the boss with 4 health here. 3 once he takes that hit. So you really need a good pattern in order to be able to be hitting him while also not getting hit. Really hard to dodge the lightning in that situation. Looks like he's going to set up for... Nope, he's just going to go for it here. 3 short. not going to be faster, but he's going to play it out. Perhaps just getting a better idea of how long this wolf transformation takes. Skipping that transformation is obviously a good idea, but if you have to do an entire another cycle on the wizard form to do it, then I'm actually not sure which is faster.
Well, so far, Jadian with a commanding lead. 4 seconds faster than Lightyear, who is in turn about 3 seconds faster than Tolu. But we don't see Toad yet up there on the board, so we don't know what kind of time he's going to get, but I imagine he's got a pretty good time coming as soon as he can get everything completed.
I think everyone here is capable of matching this 208 once things go their way.
Or 206, I guess.
206, yeah.
Yes.
Quick Flash 10 is asking about how we sync the comparison videos.
Yeah, they're all synced automatically. If you see each time one of these players resets, there's a little flashing symbol in the corner, and that's the indicator that the video needs to be reset. It'd be pretty difficult to sync all this stuff out manually.
Lightyear's got a pretty good run here. Is he going to transform? No, he's not. So, if he can just get this kill, 2-1. Oh, man. That's the second time now. But this looks like it could be a slight improvement here. Just going to go ahead and submit that.
So yeah, killing this thing before he turns into wolf form, I guess, is the thing to
That's
try
the
for.
dream.
That's the dream.
The dream is he appears once up high between one of these middle platforms. Probably the one closer to the floor is the absolute best.
Mm-hmm.
And you do just under half his health, and then he teleports again to a similar spot, and you finish him off. It's really hard to just react, though. Like if you're not hitting him as soon as possible, it's really hard to take off a whole half of his health bar. So it looks like this transformation is just about 6 seconds flat here.
Toad knows that he needs to go for this platform cycle. Hence the resets.
One of the things I saw people not really getting totally 100% right was this falling section with these cylindrical pillar type things, and you're going downwards and then afterwards you climb back up. Falling down between them is a little tricky, but it's possible to get most of the way down there in one fall without touching any of these other platforms. And I think a lot of people were settling for just nicking a couple of them and then walking off the sides. But now that everyone's starting to get more and more comfortable, they're starting to catch less and less of these platforms as they fall down.
Well, looks like we've got Lightyear's latest run updated. It was a 2:10:53, so a fraction of a second improvement over his previous best. But we saw how close he was to being able to get that one cycle boss there, the no transformation boss, and it looks like that's going to be the thing that you really need to do to get into running for first place.
And hope that
And
I
then-
don't manage to get it.
Right.
That, well, if both people get it, then it'll come down to all the little stage optimizations. Just a reminder that all 3 players here need to beat Jadian to stay in this tournament because he did win the last match. And we're doing a best 2 out of 3 situation here. So if Jadian becomes in first again, he's gone ahead and cinched this win here, and he's going to move on to the quarterfinals.
That's right. And at that point, we'll be done. I mean, if any of the players wants to stick around and play another goal, they can. But I think that probably everyone's got other things to do.
Well, based off of everyone's availability, that would be the case. We had some
Everyone's very
trouble
busy.
scheduling this episode. I'm really happy that we made it happen, though.
Yes, thanks to everyone for being so accommodating. To apologize, I had to keep changing on the time on these players because things kept coming up. So I was comparing Toad's run that he's doing now to Tolu's run, and it seems like there was a little bit of a difference in how long it took him to do the vertical section. So maybe these platforms aren't all on a global timer. Maybe they are screen-based. So that would mean that how quickly you jump off of each of the platforms does affect how soon the next platform at the top of the screen is going to spawn.
I wonder if it also opens up opportunities to just kind of jump in the middle of nowhere just to move the screen up and spawn some things sooner.
Yeah, that's true. That's a thing that happens in Rescue Rangers, where you have a vertical section with a bunch of platforms that come out of the wall that are triggered by screen position. You end up, in some cases, just stopping to take a jump just to get the next thing spawning. I don't know. It's sort of tough in the small amount of time these guys had to work on it to be able to answer scientific questions
Yeah.
like that.
Do some research, break out some charts.
Wow, really? Ugh.
So a lot of players really looking to beat this time seem to be skipping this health upgrade and just hoping for really good RNG.
Yeah, I noticed that when we're looking at the 213 run from Tolu, he gets it, and Toad skips it. Jadian is hacking away. Let's see.
He gets the spawns to make it happen. 3, 2, 1, gets him.
Hold on, we're on a bit of a delay here. So yeah, he finishes him before the wolf transformation happens. So now we got a heck of a time, a 2:01.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Pressure there
the
now is
groans.
really huge on everyone else.
So now this is what you need to stay alive. You need to get the early platform cycle, and you need to get the no transformation boss fight. This is the new standard.
This is the new law.
Yeah.
This is bad news, is what it is. These players, you normally in a situation like this, you could be like, well, maybe I'm not going to win, but I can still play for second, I can still play for third. But this is a situation where everyone needs to beat Jadian or they do not go on in the tournament. So they have to do whatever they can to get down to that 201.
Did he skip the heart container, or the heart refill?
I got the heart refill.
He did
get
hit the heart refill. Okay, there's a thing.
We have had people do like a really good run that was way better than all the other ones, and everyone kind of made a big deal and gushed about it. And then it turned out, it turns out that someone did manage to beat it in the end. So Toad just misses the 2 cycle there with the wolf skip. It looked like he still would have been about 15 seconds behind though. So he's losing time somewhere in the stage.
One part where he lost time was when he went for the health refill. He landed before he destroyed the thing that it was in. I copied the strat from the SDA run where it used the sword to break it to drop the heart as it was jumping over, and then it jumped back before that that platform went back into the wall.
Oh yeah, making an early cycle there. So not only could you skip the heart, I think it's an apple, but if you go for it, you can get a quick cycle to also make up some ground.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good trick that I didn't have.
Yeah, it looks like Jadian's, because he's executed more or less what he feels is flawlessly on his plan, feels the best use of his time is to scope out the other players here and learn from them and see if he can adapt something into his route. It's a nice luxury he is afforded. Everyone else has to really focus here. Although if you feel like you can't catch that 201, the best use of your time might be to study some of these other players.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, we've had quite a few matches where we've seen one or more of the players stop doing attempts and just start setting a save state and grinding out some practice for a trick that they want to add to their route. There is enough time within 30 minutes to adapt your strats, practice, and come back to it and do more attempts and still be successful.
Well,
Yep, you can even stop your attempts and drop a save state at the spot you want to practice and just do that over and over until you're comfortable with it, then get back into attempts.
Yep, we've had some sessions where the players wanted longer than an hour to work on it, so when the match started they said, just start without me, I'm going to keep practicing, and then load it up later.
So it looks like the thing that Jadian spotted is this the spot where you do the jump attack to get some extra height. It lets you clear this falling platform section in 2 jumps rather than 4. Or is it 3 instead of 5? Either way, 2 less jumps.
Error in the chat has pointed out that Jadian's huge time savings is from catching the platform cycle after the water.
That was something he spent a lot of time on once he found it. That it was possible.
And it's why I only got to the boss twice, too, because it took me that many tries to get it right.
Yeah, normally that's the kind of thing where, sure, he spent all his time on the skip, and that's great, but he's only got 2 shots at the boss, so what are the odds he's going to get a really good boss fight? Well, second try, he got a pretty darn good boss fight. So the risky play is really paid off here.
Oh, Lightyear gets 2 high spawns. 1 you can deal with, but 2 is too much of a setback.
It definitely takes a while to get the hang of the slash in midair to extend your jump. There's kind of an unclear cue as to when you want to do it. So it's the kind of thing that just kind of comes with muscle memory and feel, and that means it's the kind of thing that doesn't come quickly. So trying to adapt it into your strategies on the fly is definitely difficult.
That's not so much what saves in the one jump here. It's the fact that you can run a little bit farther off the edge and then jump.
Yeah, it looks like even if you screw up the jump slash, you can still make it just with a really, really good jump.
It's because you can jump from a little bit after walking off the edge. Or at least that's what it looks like.
Well, about 3.5 minutes left on the clock, so getting down into the danger zone here. They've got to really make these runs count. Now we're seeing a lot of these players skipping that heart refill.
Oh, come on.
I think something good happened. That's the problem with the delay we have in Season 2. We're hoping to have a setup with no delay, so all these groans and things will come right on cue.
We'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. We have had some internet stability issues.
Well, yeah. Hopefully that'll be fixed within the next couple weeks, but yeah, for the next season we got some tech upgrades. Oh, we just had a new run get posted on the board. Whose was it? It was Toad's. Toad's 215. Lightyear gets another shot at this boss. Let's see what happens. Bad first spawn, and another bad spawn.
Controllerhead wants to know when the next season starts. I'm going to say a week or two after this tournament finishes.
It'll probably start... I mean, if we have some time to do one before the end of the year, we will. It may have to wait till after AGDQ. But if so, it'll be the first weekend after HDQ. We'll have our re-premiere of SGL, our Season 2 premiere. We may be able to get in an episode or two before. We were talking about doing a Christmas episode. We'll probably do that. And we may be able to get in one more before New Year's. So like late December or early January.
How are we doing on time?
Not much left. 25 seconds left before last call.
Lucky in chat asking if I'm going to HEDQ. No, I'm not. I really want to, but I'm not. Just not in. It's just not the smart thing to do money-wise right now, but I definitely do want to go eventually.
Okay, well, we're at last call right now. It is last call for resets, guys. And that's it. No more resets past now.
Looks like, yep, Tolu's going to take it. His life situation was really low heading into the boss. Lightyear feeling good about his 5 health here. a good first spawn.
Good second spawn.
Second one just needs to stay alive. Finish it.
And he does finish it. Let's see what the time is. It's not a 2:01, but it's good enough for still for second place. But it's much closer to Jadian's time.
Yeah, that was about a 2:04.
Yep, about a 2:04 there. So
Toads also gets a good pattern. 3, 2, 1, gets a kill. It's not going to beat the 2:01, but man, is it close.
and that's extremely close to Lightyear's time. I'm not sure which one had a faster
Wow.
time.
We still get a live run from Toby here, one of the only players to reset. Some people in chat were like, no, Jadian's got it. No one's even close. Well, how about that? How about 204? That's pretty darn close.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I knew that these players were capable of it. It just had to come together. It's just one of those goals. I think Tolu's been matched only by the Lightyear for his consistency in getting to the boss. Does have to detour for that heart, but he does get the quick grab, so that's something. It looks like he's getting to this boss room with a little less health, a little less time rather than the others. And he doesn't get a great opening spawn, but at least he doesn't have to worry about health at all. He's free to go nuts. Spawns at the top. That's going to be really hard to work with. That's pretty much the end of Tolu's run there. And that's going to be the end of this game and the end of this match.
That's right. It looks like Jadian has managed to beat everybody else 2 out of 3 times. So Jadian is the person who moves on. We don't need to do the third match of the day.
There is one thing. Tolu and Toad are now tied, and one of them should... We don't know which one of those guys advances to sort of face Jadian and then lose, but for the records of the brackets,
we could. I mean, if you guys want to stick around and do another, you are welcome to. These all do count towards SGL points. But you don't feel like you have to?
It's been
the wrong time.
It's been 3 hours of hardcore mystery gaming.
Yeah, I kind of feel like stopping.
Yep, that's okay. So, our next SGL is happening tomorrow at noon. We've got 4 excellent players for you. It's going to be the... Wait, is this... It's not the winner's bracket one. This is the loser's bracket quarterfinals.
Quick correction. Looks like we've got the wrong time in the wrong slot. Tolu got Toad's time there at the end. We'll get that fixed up.
Oops. Okay, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
What were you saying? Brackets, I think.
Okay, yeah. So tomorrow, what we've got for you, tomorrow at noon, we've got noon Eastern time, we've got Zinnic Reverie versus Seawolf versus Andy versus Enemy. And the 4 of them are going to be playing Young Indiana Jones Chronicles for the NES. And they will also have another mystery game, a different game than that they will be doing as well. So that's going to be noon tomorrow. Don't miss it. And that will be a quarterfinals match. And then after that, we've got one more quarterfinals match to go. It's going to be the winner of this, so that is Jadian, is going to be going up against Dragon Dark, Nighty, and Jeff Sledge. And that will be happening next weekend, give or take. Date has not been set. Give or take a few days. And then after that point, we'll be on to the semifinals. Only 4 people left at that point. Or it'd be 6 people left at that point. So we're
yeah,
down
that's right. It'll
very
be Cards
close
of the
to
Heart,
end.
Canonophone, Jorf, and Error.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 2 of those winners of those matches. We just said there. But that is tomorrow. Maybe there will be a Zelda 2 race afterwards, if any of those are happening.
Yep.
I don't think any are scheduled.
There's one that starts like right at the end of SGL, so we may end up doing that one too. So we may have some Zelda 2 races for you tomorrow.
People are curious about this 3rd game.
Well, we can't tell you what it is because then
Yeah.
Then
Just
we'll know.
just in general, we try not to tell people too much about our goals because we don't want people to practice them.
Sure, and we don't. We want people. We really do want it to be a surprise. We don't want people to have some idea of what might be in the
Yeah.
pool.
It's a mystery for a reason. So you guys will have to wait and come back for some of our other episodes. I'm sure the Super NES will come up again. And did I just call it the Super NES?
That's fine. As long as you
What's
don't call
wrong
it
with me?
SNES,
Oh my god,
then you're okay.
man. I feel awful. The SNES will come back, and that means people are very likely to pick some of these games we have picked out, and then you'll see them then. So come back, follow the channel, and you can also follow us on Twitter at Speed Gaming Show, and that's how you'll know when these other matches are coming up. And if you like Zelda 2, definitely do that as well, because we'll be casting a lot of the Zelda 2 tournament matches. That is a different link that I will type out. Oh, Air's just curious if it was the game recently. Well, which ones did... I can look that up for you. And then give you a yes or no. How about that?
To know what?
He wants to know if the goals they chose were the ones he submitted.
The one that they chose that would have been match 3?
Yeah.
No, it was one that I made up.
Yeah. Oh, it's exclamation mark Zelda 2. There you go. Yep. So that's us. We'll have VODs highlighted soon, and we do have a YouTube. It's a little bit of a mess right now. We're working on that, but you can subscribe to us on YouTube and get us over the 500 subscriber number, so we can change our name from a bunch of characters to Speed
To an
Gaming
actual-
League.
Yeah, an actual
Yeah.
name. That's right, you can't get YouTube names anymore until you have 500 subscribers. So maybe we'll have subscribers drive someday.
Yeah, so you can stick around with us while we play a bonus game here. I think
I think we're done with
here,
bonus
or
games.
we're just
I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it. I mean, for today.
All right.
I didn't prepare one because I thought we were going to be going till midnight. So.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep, but there's plenty of things to watch. Let's see. K-Mac is on playing Techno Super Bowl. I think that what we're going to do is raid Mexican Runner, because among other people, he was nice enough to have hosted us today. And he's playing an excellent game. He's doing Galga right now, which is quite a challenge. So cheer him on. I think he needs your support getting that done. Well, anyway, thank you, first of all, to Mythical 9 for joining me for commentary.
My pleasure.
And thank you, Darkano, for timing these runs. You did a lot of work today.
No problem.
All right, and thank you to all of our players. I really appreciated the effort that you put into this tournament. Everyone worked so hard, and it really sucks to have anyone eliminated, but at this point, there's so few people left because we're so far into it. But thank you so much, you guys, for showing up.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
thanks
regardless
for
of
having-
results, everyone
And
did really
congratulations,
amazing.
JD.
Thank you.
Killed it.
That was a pretty commanding run there at the end with the early elevator platform, which I think is the main difference in those times there.
Yeah,
Probably was.
I just could not get that thing.
Nice. All right, well, I'm going to set up a stream raid link here. We'll raid TMR.
I don't know
That's
what
it.
kind of message. I don't know how Galaga relates to the Lion King or Actraiser.
You can raid him with Hakuna Matata.
All right, let's do it. It's SGL raid back.
It is the
what
SGL raid back. You can say that too. Go for it. But there we go. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.